What is up, Apex Familia, and welcome to the inaugural Apex Experience podcast, where we're going to have so many names, personalities, and stories told for the first time for many. And guess what? For the very first time, episode 1 of the podcast, I'm blessed, honored to have one of the greatest stories in all of esports. I've been saying it for a long time. One of the greatest humans and personalities that we have in Apex Legends. It's HisWattson of Fury. My man, thank you for doing this. How are you feeling right now? Appreciate you doing it, man. Glad to have you. And look, I guess let's start on that. We're going to tell your whole story, and I'm excited to really dig into it. Because I know bits and pieces. I think the community knows bits and pieces, and people know the highlights or the lowlights. There's been some of both. It's been a journey. Yeah, and we'll get to that. You acknowledge the lowlights. It's been a journey. We're going to get to that. But the fact that you're doing this, the fact that you clearly get something that other pro players don't. And it seems like, I don't know if it's gratitude that you have or just intelligence or I don't know what it is, but your content, building your brand, everything you've done has just been intentional for a year now. And that's been a big part of why you've exploded. So what is it? Are you just grateful for the position that you're in? Why do you do so much more for content, so much things like this than other pros, or who just stream live?
Um, I don't know. I just find it fun, and I feel like for everyone that's streaming, like growing your brand is like what you want to do, obviously. And I just feel like the way that people are going about it, I don't think it's that I'm doing anything like above and beyond. I just think that what I'm doing is abnormal on the Apex side, whereas everyone just kind of like streams and turns off their stream. I just feel like I'm doing things that aren't, necessarily like crazy. They're just crazy for Apex, I guess.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. Crazy for Apex. I would say crazy for other esports too, man. Look, I come from a variety of esports. Gears esports, the pros didn't do anything. They just played the game and wanted to be the best, which again, I respect. It's because the prize pools were millions and millions of dollars. So they're like, that's where I'm going to focus my time and effort. Apex, the prize pool is obviously distributed. So there's other ways you have to monetize. There's other ways to grow your brand, and you recognize that. So you're right. You're humble about it, but I think it is crazy for Apex. It's crazy for other esports. I don't think a lot of pros do what you do, but for you, it's just logical. It seems like for you, it's just the obvious thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, and kind of what I noticed is that like all of the big moments like I've had when I grew on Twitch, like went from 10 viewers to 100 or 100 to 1,000. It wasn't because I just like turned on my stream and played Apex. It was because like something else was happening, that was completely unrelated, that would have happened even if I wasn't streaming. So, um, yeah, that's kind of just something I noticed, and then I kind of tried to, use that, do something crazy that would be crazy even if it wasn't on stream.
What do you mean by that? If you go into more detail, if you don't mind, something crazy happened. What do you mean?
Well, pretty much all of my growth has been on Twitch, I guess, has been pretty like, not like linear. It's been like spikes, I guess. And all of that was from things that I just did, outside of streaming. So like when I hit rank 1 the first time, like 100 viewers or something or whatever. And then, I hit rank 1 again. That was when I had growth, because like, hey, rank 1, and then I just like streamed or for like 2 or 3 months or whatever, and there was no growth at all. So I was like, okay, well, gotta do something else. And then hit rank 1 again, and then I was around like 1,000 viewers, and then the the house stuff nail just happened, and that was when I grew again. It was kind of in like 3 or 4 steps rather than just like a linear growth that people expect, I guess.
Interesting.
But yeah, it was all because of something that completely unrelated to streaming that would have happened, if I wasn't streaming it or not.
And are you saying it's fate, or are you just saying it's chance? Do you think there's like a fate level there, or someone was looking out, or are you just saying just by chance, it's just how it happened? It was random, or what do you think?
Just
seems like there's a deeper meaning here that you're trying to allude to. Maybe not. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
I don't know. I guess just that I feel like people come to your stream because of, I don't know. It's not like, I don't really know how to explain it other than what I already said, I guess. But
yeah, okay. No, that makes
growing
sense.
growing my brand was mainly through Twitch, and it was because of other things. It wasn't just like I woke up every day and streamed ranked like 8 hours. Like, yeah, that helped, but it was like the huge spikes I had were from something else entirely.
Something else that happened. Got it.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sitting there like, was it fate and destiny? It's like, it's not that Watson's like, it's not that deep, Falloutt. It's just because I tweeted something and the tweet went viral, or how?
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, okay, that makes sense. Someone told me, a wise person, a big fan of Apex, actually, I was just with in Boston, said, taught me something completely unrelated to what you're saying. But he said, actually, maybe it is related to what you're saying. He said, shout out to Jason, by the way, Thick and Froggy. He said, destiny equals fate plus free will. So fate plus free will equals destiny, and fate and destiny are two different things. I'm just gonna let y'all ponder on that. But I think that's actually related to what you're saying. I honestly think it was kind of your destiny that got you here. It seemed very fortuitous, but without free will, of you having the free will and making the decisions that you've made to really grow your brand and tweet and engage the community and meme and play professionally, that was a big step. You wouldn't be here right now. So
yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yep. So let's jump into the story then. I'm really excited to dig into the full story. Again, people know you now as HisWattson, the outspoken guy for Furia. It seems like forever ago, but it was less than about a year ago, year and a couple of months ago, that you were HisWattson, the ranked grinder that didn't want to play comp because you had some opinions on comp. And then, weeks or months before that, the Keon story. But people don't know that. I didn't know the Keon story until Keon told me. We were hanging out in London, I think, when you weren't there. We'll get to that as well.
I was not.
Salt in the wound, did that sting a little bit? I tried to make it sting.
No, I'm over it. It was wild for a little while, but I'm over it.
Now we'll get to that. We joked about that before we went live. We'll get to that. So let's start from the very beginning, man. It's a really amazing story. I don't want to spoil it. And actually, when we were talking before, we kind of laid out an outline, and I always try to prep for these things. But I want to start before the outline, right? Before the trailer and your grandmother and Keon. I want to get to know HisWattson as a person. I know you were in college. You dropped out of college to pursue this. But before then, talk to me about your upbringing as a kid. Did you play games growing up? Were your parents supportive of you playing games growing up? Did you have access to technology? Kind of what are some crucible moments in your childhood that made you who you are? Talk to me about a few of those.
So I guess in my childhood, what made me what I am was that when I was like 5 or 6 years old or something, my brother had an Xbox. And I lived in pretty much the middle of nowhere. So going out, there wasn't really much to do anywhere else. So pretty much all the thing I could do for fun was just play the Xbox. And so as I kind of got older, I just kept doing it. I didn't really change I'm just typical nerdy, sweaty gamer. I just play games and never went outside, and did that pretty much my whole childhood. And when you do something for 8 hours a day your whole life, it's pretty hard not to be good at it. So at some point, I just was able to turn it into something, worth something, I guess. That's pretty much it. There's not really much about my childhood. I didn't really do a whole lot. I just sit in my room and play games like a sweaty nerd. And then one day when I was like 19 or 20, I got really good. That was about it.
Pretty straightforward. Yeah. Interesting. Your parents together, not separated? If you know what I'm asking, getting a little personal here. Anything like personal that kind of affected you and made you the hard worker you are, or gave you the intelligence you are? Anything there? Or am I stretching? If I'm stretching, any crucial moments that made you the person that you are today? Like anything like that?
I think maybe something I thought about was that when I was a kid, I didn't have any internet. So when I had game stuff, I couldn't just play COD and play the same, what I do now, just play the same, end it game over and over. So I would have 5 games and all I could do was play the campaign. So all I would do was be 7 years old and I'd put them on hardest difficulty and try to beat them as fast as possible. And so I guess maybe that and that was pretty much all I did for I was 15 or something, just played games offline. So all I could really do was try to maximize or minimize, try to be as good as possible. And that was all I really had to do. There wasn't the open-endedness, I guess. It was kind of I guess maybe that kind of mindset is what helps me be who I am today in terms of gaming, because I'm really huge about that of minimizing, playing really efficiently. And that's kind of all I could really do back then was just play the games more efficiently because there wasn't anything new to do, I guess. So maybe in that sense, but no, nothing really crazy.
That's kind of crazy. You listen, that's what I was looking for. I think it's interesting with you. I don't think you realize how interesting you are. I think you think you're just everyone else thinks like you. It's an interesting story, and you really are an interesting person. That's really interesting. You are a pro gamer. Most pro gamers have been playing online games. How old are you right now?
21.
You're 21. Okay, you're very young. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you're that young. Jeez, that's even more impressive. Most 21-year-old pro gamers right now have been playing competitive multiplayer online games since they were 7 online. The fact that you're almost like the story of Michael Oher, right? The Blind Side. Do you know that movie?
That's my favorite movie.
What?
I was
No
saying
way.
that yesterday. I was
Is
telling
it
someone that
really?
yesterday. That's my favorite movie. Yeah.
What are the odds? I always get so sad when I talk to pros who are 21 years old because they live under a rock and they just play video games all the time. So they don't know pop culture references like The Blind Side and Michael Oher. The fact that you knew that immediately and it's your favorite movie, amazing. Okay, you're just like him, right? I mean, in a way, it's a similar story.
Yeah,
he was 15
awesome.
years old, got discovered, and he always liked thing. You know, he never played football, but he liked sports growing up, whatever. And then all of a sudden got discovered. And then all of a sudden started playing football in high school for the first time. And it's hard, you know, because these kids grew up playing pee-wee football their entire lives and then was better than everyone. I mean, that's similar to you. You didn't have the internet until you were what? How old were you when you had internet, like full service internet in your home?
I had internet, but it was like I couldn't play a game. Like I didn't even bother trying to play online games until that's why I played at my grandma's house when I was like 18. But I think when I actually had my own internet, I was probably 19 that I could play games on.
It's insane. So you had internet. Was it like dial up? It just wasn't good enough to play online games. You get kicked out of games.
No, it was like 700 ping, like just terrible. I couldn't play.
Why is that? Did you live in another continent?
Yeah. Yeah, Arkansas. Pretty much. I just live in the middle of nowhere. So like there's not really too much demand for companies to put better internet out there. So I just had satellite pretty much.
No one's laying fiber. AT&T and Verizon aren't laying fiber in the middle of Arkansas.
They're not rushing to do that right now.
Ain't much of a business op.
No.
So and that's also interesting. Okay, now I'm glad I'm digging in a little bit. And again, people are always like Fallout stretching so much. And I don't stretch because people misunderstand me and think that I'm like trying to find breaking news to leak. I tweeted this the other day. I don't know if you saw it. I could care less about breaking news in Apex. Like, I'm not trying to do this for a living. I'm not a full-time content creator. I have a full-time job. I just really love digging into stories like this. And it takes 5 or 6 or 7 questions to sometimes peel the onion back. And that's the story, right? That's really interesting. Like, you don't even realize it. To you, it's just like, it's what
just my life.
You're from the middle of nowhere in Arkansas, dude. Like, and again, that's no disrespect to anyone from the middle or you, but the reality is you didn't have access to the same things. I'm guessing, you tell me if I'm wrong, you had an Xbox and that changed your life. It sounds like that was a crucible moment. I'm glad you mentioned that. But it's not like you went to school and like the common story for kids these days, all their kids and friends are playing Fortnite together and then they finish school and they go home and they all play Fortnite or Call of Duty and then they form a clan and they start playing in that clan. And that's how you didn't really have any of that. I guess talking about the culture of where you grew up in Arkansas, what was your school like? What was high school like? What was middle school like? What was the experience like in Arkansas?
So my experience in Arkansas was, I was kind of just like a black sheep. Like I lived in like a super small town. And so it was like after school, everyone just got in their trucks and went to the parking lot and hung out, I guess. And I just went home and played games and was a nerd and had no friends. And I guess it worked out in the end, I guess. But I mean, that was my whole school life pretty much. I just went home and played games and chilled by myself pretty much.
Yeah, and it did work out because those people are probably still hanging out in the parking lot drinking Bud Light, you know?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
You probably see them when you drive by a Walmart, you know, or whatever parking lot, their parking lot of choices. And again, no disrespect to any of those people by any means. Everyone chooses, but you really made something of yourself in a big way that safe to say you don't really, I've never met a pro gamer. I've done every esport you could imagine. I've never met a pro from Arkansas. So like safe to say there are not many people that have become Twitch streamers and influencers and pro players that you know of, or
my sound cut out. Oh, I'm back. I think
your sound cut out. Okay, he's back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Nice. That's good. Someone said I was echoing. I don't know if it's caused by you or if you have like your Go XLR, not chat mic, but your game stream mic selected. Make sure it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. My mic was probably too close to my headset.
Okay, nice. That's probably what it was. Cool. Hopefully that fixes the echo. Apologies, y'all, for the echo there. But yes, all that to say, I think you maybe heard me. Not many people. I've never heard of another pro from Arkansas, like I mentioned, and you do hear stories like what Scottie Pippen was from Arkansas, and other folks that kind of make it with athletics or this or that. But because of video games, you have been given an opportunity to kind of turn into the global superstar that you are. That's a pretty cool story, isn't it? In my eyes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful that I can just stare at a screen all day and provide value to society, I guess. I'm very grateful that that's what I get to do, you know? So,
yep. Yeah, I just think it's really cool, the democratization of a lot of things, but the ability for anybody from anywhere, including the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, to grow. I think that's an awesome story. So thank you for explaining that. I won't dig too much deeper there. I won't stretch or reach as people like to think I do. But that's a really cool kind of start. So you have you also mentioned older brother. Talking about your siblings. Your parents, is there anything there? Your older brother had an Xbox, and that's what got you playing offline games and got you like to fall in love with video games. Was he an inspiration? Is he still an inspiration? What's he doing now?
Um, I'm not sure he's in. He kind of just like he moved a couple of times away from my parents, and I talk to him every once in a while. He hangs out in my chat sometimes. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
But I don't keep up with my family as much as I probably should. But they're just kind of doing their own thing. But my dad is super awesome. I love my dad. I look just like him. I try to be like him in a lot of ways. I think he's just super awesome. My grandparents are cool. Yeah, nothing
Awesome.
too out of the ordinary. Just normal parents, I guess.
No, that's cool. Are they proud of you? Are they all proud of you? Like insanely proud of you, or just like, yeah, they don't really know what you do?
Yeah, well, to them, I kind of just sat in my room and didn't do anything. And so for them to see me be like super successful when maybe they thought, nothing was going to happen there, it's cool for them, I guess.
It's awesome. Is it one of those situations where you're now like, and again, don't go into any specifics. And by the way, y'all, the only reason I'm asking really personal questions is Watson said literally anything goes. Like you can full blown.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's still the case, right? You're okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Don't go to specifics, but you're now probably making more money than them, right? Like that is happening and you're 21 years old. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Crazy, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
very grateful.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're grateful. I'm sure they love to see it. They're so happy for you. That's an awesome story, man. See, that is also really, really cool. And the fact that, were they ever hard on you? The fact that you were just sitting inside playing games all day? They supported you. They let you do it because they knew you liked it.
No, my dad, just as long as I was happy and had good grades in school, I mean, he didn't really care. That was pretty much it. And I'm very grateful that he had that mentality, because through me just doing what I love to do, like I turned it into like a job, instead of just like what I was going to do, which was just go like work with him and like the factory he works at and just play games on the side. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy. That's really all he cares about. And I'm very, very grateful he was, that's how he raised me, I guess.
Wow. I almost get emotional, man. My heart is touched. That's really cool. It's a really cool story. Seriously. Appreciate you sharing that. But you did good in school. It sounds like you had good grades in high school. You were pretty academic.
For the most part. Yeah.
We taught A's and B's.
But it's not too hard to be, have A's and B's in Arkansas. The standard is a lot lower for sure. It's a lot lower.
But I felt bad for roasting Arkansas. And I wasn't trying to disrespect anyone from Arkansas or from rural areas. My dad's from like a village in Crete in Greece, immigrant family and story. But the fact that you have now basically roasted Arkansas 3 times, I think opens the door up for me to also roast Arkansas, which is good. A little bit. It's a little better. Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. So you were good in school. It wasn't hard to be good because the bar was low, you're saying, but you were good in school, and then you went to college. So now we're going to jump into kind of the origin story of HisWattson as a pro. That's HisWattson as a child. What was your first gamer tag, by the way?
Time of Death. That was my first gamer tag. I was 6 years old. My older brother put it in for me.
For his 6-year-old little brother, a Time of Death?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! I got an 8-year-old nephew. He'd be having nightmares if I made his gamer tag a Time of Death. Literally.
Yeah, wow. I wanted something else, but whatever name I picked, he thought wasn't cool enough. So he picked what he thought was cool for me.
He's like, listen, we got to make this a lot more grim and scary. We're going to call you a Time of Death. We got to make it cool.
He wanted me to look cooler than what I was going to pick, which was like just some little kid stuff, probably.
Yeah, exactly. A Time of Death. You sound like my friend Prison to Death. He's a pro Gears player. Yeah, it's interesting. So Time of Death. That explains so much, by the way, of just your look, your vibe. You bleed a Time of Death vibes. Is that disrespectful?
That's not what I'm going for too much, but your perspective, I guess. See what you see, I guess.
I'm just kidding, by the way. I see you. Okay. If you were my age, man, if you were 30 years old, you would have totally been like an emo kid that wore eyeliner in high school. You don't understand that, and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? But anyone over the age of 30 remembers like Scene and emo kids. It was really popular, and not popular. It was like it became what hipsters became. Now hipsters are kind of a dying breed. It was like goth turned to emo and Scene turned to hipster, and now it's kind of a dying breed. But you totally would have been an emo Scene kid. I just want you to know that. You know what that means?
No, but in school, definitely not wearing the black, but I definitely wore like the rainbow clothes. I was definitely a big fan of that.
So that's the opposite of black.
So pretty much the opposite, yeah.
What's rainbow clothes? That's a thing that Gen Z kids do now?
Yeah, I had a hoodie with like a llama on it, and it was just like rainbow, and I love that.
Fortnite?
No, it was
just a hoodie with a llama.
Yeah.
Okay, so you dropped the Time of Death vibe really fast. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, pretty quickly. I realized that was not very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I might have been 13 when I swapped out for that one.
Now, honestly, I think I completely swung and missed with the emo scene kid thing because a rainbow llama is completely a different vibe. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, let's move on from high school, Watson. He's a weeb, says Chrono in the chat. Let's move on from that. How'd you get the gamer tag, HisWattson?
So, me and my friend Mikey, I used to play with him when I played in my grandma's house, which, funnily enough, I live like just a few minutes away from him now, just by complete chance. He lives just like right down the road.
In Arkansas still?
No, I'm in Florida now. And he just lives completely by chance. He lives right down the road. And we used to play all the time, and I would play Watson. He played Gibraltar. And so we wanted to have matching names, just like some random something, just, because we were duo queuing. And we wanted to I thought I had the idea of making fun of e-couples that do like, his kitten or something like that and her whatever. And so we went with HisWattson and her Gibraltar. And then the next split, I was number 25 pred, and everybody knew me as HisWattson, so I just kept it pretty much.
Something doesn't add up there. You went from HisWattson, her Gibraltar, playing with your buddy Mike, to top 25 pred like that. You just got really good at the game quick, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of happened that quick, I guess. My first split, I was D3, and I was like, dude, next split, if I get Masters, I'm going to be so happy, dude. I'm the best player in the game. And then I hit Masters quickly. I don't know. It kind of just happened all at once. I just hit Masters, and I was like, well, shoot, like, I'm going to try to hit pred. And then it just kind of happened. I don't know. It happened as quickly as I told the story, pretty much. I don't really know what happened there either. I didn't really expect to even be good.
As quickly as you told.
Yeah. I didn't really expect to be good at Apex.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, say again.
I didn't really expect to be good at Apex. It just kind of happened. I thought, because pretty much my whole life, I was just kind of like, diamond, plat in games. And then something happened with Apex. Really
you played offline Xbox Call of Duty against zombies, you said, or something. Was that it?
Yeah, I would play like the campaigns pretty much. That's pretty much all I had to play.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected you to go pro in Apex either, to be honest with you. Yeah.
No, I did not.
And that's the thing. Listen, you're humble, and you keep saying things just happen to you, and then things happen, and whatever. You're just a normal guy. You're not. And I'm gonna hopefully I get you to realize this by the end of this conversation. I think you are. I don't think you're just being humble and like deep down you're a badass. I think you genuinely don't realize that you're a badass. So all that to say, it did just happen. Was it natural skill? Did you grind? Did you skip school? I mean, there was a journey here for like day 1, day 2, day 3. You had to get better and better and better. What was the journey?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, like my whole life, all I went home and did was play games until I went to bed. So I feel like it's pretty hard not to be super good if that's all you do. Like I'd go to school thinking about games, go play games, go to bed thinking about games, ride to school thinking about games I was going to play when I got home. Just trying to be like as good as possible at those games, just from my own pure enjoyment. Like not, because there was no showing off at all. It was just like, how good can I get at this game? And like that was the mentality I had every single day. Was like, I'm gonna go home, beat this fucking game. Like I'm gonna highest difficulty. I'm gonna do something crazy. Like I'm gonna try to be as fast as possible. I mean, that was all I had to do. So I feel like if people had like did what I did every day for, as long as I did it, I don't feel like it wouldn't matter if you were talented or not. I mean, it was all I did. It's kind of hard not to. If you have like, just like the mentality that I had and like the time I put into playing like min-maxing games. I mean, it's not surprising that I'm good.
Again, same thing. You just think you're min-maxing games. It's hard to not go pro when you play games all the time. I'll tell you right now, brother, there's a lot of people that play games a lot and don't do what you do. There's a lot. So what I'm synthesizing from that is your mentality. Your mentality said, I want to find a way to beat the game faster or to do this faster as a kid. And you always had like a N+1. How could I do it better?
Yeah. I mean, since I was 5 years old. Yeah.
Since you're 5 years old. Okay. That's it. That's your ethos right there. Like that's your core differentiator. In case you didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I tell people. I'm like, if it's all you think about every single day, like your body will get better at it. It's impossible. Like, I mean, that's what, if you go running every single day, you'll get better at it. Like games are like a brain game. So like, if you just tell your brain, like all I want to do, like this is what I'm doing every single day. I'm gonna go to bed, think about it, wake up, think about it, do it. Like, it's impossible. I feel like if you're really committed, like it's more a mentality thing than anything, I think.
I love that. You cracked the code. And that's everything in life, by the way. It's not just games, like lifting and getting stronger. They say all the time, it's basically just training your brain and tricking your brain and then your body and your muscles to be able to lift more weights. And that's how you get stronger. And same thing with pretty much everything else in life. So you just hit the nail on the head in terms of being great in anything. And I love that you explain that. I appreciate you explaining that to people that maybe don't understand that. If you become, it's passion at the end of the day. It's loving something so damn much that it becomes
your life,
core soul, your essence, your life,
soul. Yeah,
it's your soul. They're connected. Would you say your soul is connected to Apex Legends?
Yeah, probably. It's probably
still is. It was at one point. It still is. Do you still have that same soul passion?
Maybe not the passion, but it's definitely my most played game. I've definitely spent more
that doesn't
time
mean your soul's connected. That's two different things. Most played game. Of course, it's your most played game.
I mean, I go to bed thinking about it still, so probably,
okay, so yes.
I would say so.
Okay. Maybe not the passion, but your soul's still connected to it. That's a deep take. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so continuing to it. So basically, if I'm reading between the lines here, Apex came out. How did you find Apex? Did you play day one? What season did you start? And what was the story like at first? You mentioned something to me before the show. You had to go to your grandmother's to play it first. Why is that? What was the very beginning of your Apex origin story?
So I was playing League of Legends, which dark part of my life. I want to forget that as much as possible. I'm the worst version of myself when I play League of Legends. But I was playing League on my gaming laptop. I guess I'll tell this part of the story. So basically, the only reason that I even had a gaming laptop was because my dad, like I've asked for a million times for like a PC, and my dad couldn't afford one. So he took money out of his retirement to buy me a PC, and I got a gaming laptop, and I played on that for like a year or two. So Dad's a legend. And I played League, and then I was with my buddy, and he was like, dude, Shroud is streaming this game called Apex. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm playing League. I don't care. And he was like, no, play. So download League or Apex. First couple days, I was horrible. Never played a shooter before. Worst player in the game. I remember dying to Nicewig like my first couple days back when he was like, 10-year streamer. But he doesn't remember that. But and then my computer blew up. Didn't work. So it like overheated and blew up. So probably a year later, I got an actual PC, and I had nothing to play. And I was like, what did I like playing when I had a PC? And I was like, Apex. And then that started just like the 8-hour a day Apex addiction. And then it kind of just never stopped at that point. Just loved it so much. It's just a game that I feel like there's a lot of skill expression, and you can always get better at something. Even if it's something as like armor swapping faster or, looting faster. I mean, there's so many things to improve at Apex. Like it's so easy to see skill, like in League, for example, someone clicks around a minion wave and you're just like, I don't understand like why this guy's good. But like you watch someone play Apex, you're like, wow, this guy's good, So it was like really satisfying in that aspect. But yeah, that's how I got into it pretty much. Just my buddy told me Shroud was playing it, so I tried it.
Her Gibraltar, Mike?
Mikey, yeah. Her Gibraltar, yeah.
Big Mikey. Is he still around? What's he doing nowadays? In Apex?
No, not really. He's just grinding IRL stuff at the moment.
Okay.
Doesn't really play games much.
Yep. Good for him. You still keep in touch? You guys still buddies?
Yeah. Talk to him sometimes.
I want to go back to that story, man. I got emotional. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you for getting personal. What an amazing dad. What an amazing story to take from his own retirement savings to make his son happy. Hard-earned money, working in a factory, buy you a game to buy you a PC to play video games. And that's as selfless.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you laugh because it does sound funny because it's just as selfless as it gets, right?
Yeah.
He's a very selfless man.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. I love my dad so much.
Wow, it's amazing. Well, and then the year later, you got a PC though. So like same thing. When you got that PC, it was a custom built desktop PC this time. Same thing. You had to kind of take from savings, or was the situation a little bit better then? Or
I don't remember. I think maybe I bought it.
You bought it. Did you have a job or something?
Yeah. I think I maybe bought half of it or something.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't really remember how I got my actual PC.
Got it. And why not Xbox? Why not just play on console? Why did you want a PC? Because you're a mouse and keyboard player at the time?
No, I actually played controller. Apex only ever played M&K on. I didn't know that controller was good in Apex. So when I started playing, I was like, oh, it's a PC shooter. You have to play on M&K. And boy, was I wrong. Boy, was that not true. First year of Apex, I just sucked bad and learned how to play MK.
Wow.
Yeah.
So really, yeah. So all the Xbox stuff growing up, I was like, oh, cool. Him playing Call of Duty helped give him a foundation of gaming offline. That did nothing for you because you played mouse and keyboard. So you really started from ground zero in Apex Legends.
Mechanics wise, yeah. I
Mechanics
played
wise.
Minecraft. That was probably my only mechanical training for Apex, which not very good.
Not very good.
That
Yeah,
was
I don't
on
think
that was
Minecraft.
the only thing
The
I
blocks that you have to jump on a block and then.
Yeah, it doesn't translate well. That was the only thing I played MK for. So like I knew where the buttons were, but that was about it when it came to like shooting someone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an amazing story, man. Yeah, so basically you started from scratch. I mean, that's just inspirational, man. That's why I wanted to bring you on as my first guest. Yeah, I mean, Hal's a good story, good dude. There's a lot of good snipe downs, a lot of good people out there. But I think your story is the most inspirational story of anyone's in Apex Legends. I don't think there's a more inspirational story. You started from ground zero. And we're not done yet. Let's keep going. I really appreciate you sharing this, man. So then you started grinding out. Okay, so a year after Apex came out, you didn't play for a whole year. A year after Apex came out, we're talking early 2020, COVID. You know, COVID hits. You're inside all the time. I'm guessing grinding the game nonstop, and that's when you got to the diamond level, et cetera, et cetera. Then you told the story of from Diamond 3 to all of a sudden you got top 25 Predator, and kind of happened really fast. That was what, like season 7-ish, season 8?
4.
It was 4 or 5. Okay. It was season 4. Yeah. So it's fairly early on. So you were grinding ranked fairly early on, not day one, but fairly early on. But then I've heard all types of crazy stories. I heard about the Keon story and whatever. So what happened from there? I know you lost internet at one point. You couldn't play. I know you had to go to your grandparents' house. What's the story from there?
So the Keon story. So basically, when I was grinding Pred for a couple seasons, I was kind of just like playing, like not really streaming because internet didn't work. Couldn't stream. I could only play pretty much.
Because your internet was so bad you could only play.
Yeah, okay. Only could play. I would told the grandma's house story already, I think.
I don't think you did. No, you told me that before we went live.
Okay, so basically, when I was playing Apex, I didn't have internet at my parents' house to play games on, but my grandma did for some reason. So I would beg my dad every day to let me stay with my grandparents so that I could play Apex and just no life, no productivity, nothing. I would just no life Apex, begging my dad every day to stay there a week or like 2 weeks at a time or whatever. And then it would get late. I have to be quiet. So I went with my grandma up. And then
you physically lug and carry your desktop PC to your grandma's every night? You left it there?
I would move it a lot. I would move it a lot of times. So I would carry my whole PC, monitors, everything to my grandparents' house. And I'd move it back every so often, like every week, or maybe I'd go take it back for the day, like, or whatever. Yeah, took it there to play. And then I think what happened next was maybe after like 6 months to 9 months of me just playing in my grandma's house, my dad got internet and I could barely stream. I could stream like in the middle of the night and it might go out at 5 a.m. and not come back on. It was like just horrible. But I met Keon around like season 5 or 6 and he wanted to do number 1 Pred. So I was like, awesome. I'll try to stream number 1 Pred. So we were number 1 and 2. And then I had like 150 viewers at the time, just being number 2 with Keon. And then the internet stopped working. It just didn't work. Company sucks. Took like 3 weeks for them to get somebody out there. It was horrible. And I was like, dude, like I'm 19. I think I was 19. I think I was 19. I don't really remember. Something like that. And I was like, dude, like I'm living with my parents. I don't want to be a burden to my parents at some point. I got to move out, do something like, like, I don't know. Internet sucks. I'm just going to have to go get a job or something. I don't know. Got to do something. I don't want to live with my parents. I don't want to be a burden to them. And then he called me and he was like, dude, Watson, if I let you live with me, this is just completely random. He's like, if you let me live with me, like if I let you live with me, will you grind for number 1 and 2 and just stream and, grow our careers? And I was like, I guess. I was like, but I'm not getting on a plane because I was scared of planes. So I was like, if you're going to come over there, you have to come pick me up. Like you need to drive from Arkansas, 20 hours, come pick me up and drive me back. And if you do that, yes, I will play with you and grind Apex. And so he did. Him and his buddy drove 22 hours to Arkansas, packed me up in my PC, and we drove back in the back of his car, and I had no leg room and couldn't move. My PC and everything was just filling up his car. And I stayed with him for like 4 months. And we were number 1 and 2 pred at one point, just grinding. And yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. And after 4 months, I had enough money and like my streaming was working. So I went and moved into my trailer in Arkansas because it had good internet. That's the only place I could find with good internet. So I moved into a trailer, and then the Fury stuff happened a little bit later.
Yeah, wow. We'll get into the Fury stuff, but oh my God, I'm actually jaw dropped that entire story. So it's not like it was Utah to Arizona, 10, 12 hours. We're talking Arkansas across the country. This man knew you online, never met you in person. You were a relative stranger to him. Yeah. Played online with you for what, a couple months, maybe 3, 4 months. That's it.
Maybe 6 max, I would think.
6 months max. Were you guys like best friends, playing every day? Like you trusted each other? You talked about life and personal things, type of thing.
I don't think personal stuff, but we did play. We played most days. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't really remember.
How'd you meet him originally?
He was one of Blur's friends.
I don't know who Blur is. Sorry.
Blur Flavors.
Still don't know who that is.
One of my buddies. Anyways.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We needed a third to play with because our third lived in Finland and he was going to school because I played with Blur and HIMS. He was going to school, so now we don't have a third because I played with the same 2 people every single day back then. And we're like, okay, well, whatever. And then one of Blur's friends recommends Keon just swap to PC. So we're like, okay. He was like level 80. I was like, okay, sure, let's play. And I ended up playing with him for 2 years. So yeah, it was kind of just random. Like, hey, I know this guy. I was like, okay, let's try to play with him. And it was
friend of a friend, acquaintance. He introduced you to him, and then you guys started playing together, became friends,
Yeah.
Wow. That's an insane story. Literally drove 22 hours with your knees crammed in the back of the car because PC was there. His buddy was in the car, so he didn't have to drive alone and didn't fall asleep to come pick you up. And he literally picked you up. You guys weren't signed to a team. You guys weren't pro players. You guys weren't on a salary. You weren't doing it for a living.
Nope.
Literally all because of your passion for Apex Legends and the opportunity to make something.
Yeah, he lived with his parents. So I lived with his parents too. I lived in the guest room for 4 months. I think it's 4 months.
His parents were supporting you. Lived in the living room with his parents. Like his parents.
No, his parents were totally fine with it. I don't know. Never said anything. Never gave me any problems. They were just like, I ate Thanksgiving dinner with them. Like, first day I got there, they were having Thanksgiving dinner, so I just joined them, and then, yeah, they were totally fine. They never said anything bad. They were totally fine with it. They didn't care. I ate their food or, whatever. They didn't care. Totally supportive of it. It was awesome. They're awesome people.
This really is, I didn't realize it. I said it with regards to something else. This is the Michael Orr blindside story. You are the Michael Orr blindside story. It's not like you were some kid on the street that got adopted. Obviously, it's not the same thing, but a lovely family took you in, didn't hesitate or question it, brought you to Thanksgiving dinner, and all of a sudden you show up and you're eating Thanksgiving dinner the night you got there with his family without knowing him or them. No questions asked.
Nope. No one said anything. I met his grandma. His grandma was awesome. She was super. It was like I was one of the family already, like off the rip. It was awesome. Totally, just it was like another family. It was great. Just complete random stranger online. I mean, I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, it's pretty crazy, I guess.
Yeah, it is crazy. I can confirm that is crazy. That does not happen every day. That's an insane story, man. And wow. And now he is Sentinels Keon, and you are Furia HisWattson. How does that make you feel?
And we come a long way, but it's not like we didn't put in the work. Like he's all in. Let's do it. Like he's like, and he said like it was like 100% thing. He was like, Watson, come live with me. Me and you, like we will kill it. Like we will play every day. We will grind ranked. Like we will both, make it. Like just trust me, dude. Like just come live with me. I was like, fuck it.
Insane.
Like I'll come do it. Sure. Why not?
Wow. Actually an insane story. Gosh, crazy. So that happened 4 months you lived with them, and then what happens from there? You moved back, you had enough money, you said it. You had enough money to move back. And sorry, my internet's acting a little bit weird, so I tried connecting to Wi-Fi and hopefully it's a little better. Apologies if I'm lagging it for any of y'all. But you had enough money to basically get your own place. You obviously felt I'm sure they were welcoming. I'm sure they didn't kick you out, but you felt like you were imposing after 4 months. I should probably move out. I can't just do this forever. They were paying for your food and everything too, or
No, I was just like one of the family. I just never paid for anything. I ate their food, used their toilet, used their internet. It was pretty much my PC. That was about it. It was my stuff. But yeah. So after like 4 months, I was like, all right, I got enough money. I don't want to,
keep living here forever.
live with you forever. Like, this is, gotta move on. So, and then we also someone told me this. They were like, dude, making your best friends like your roommates, like you will hate them after a while. It's true. Like, I was like, Keon, I gotta get out of here, bro. Like, I love you to death, but like, no, I don't want to live with you anymore.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. Exactly.
It's time to go.
Don't move in with your best friends or roommates. You'll see the side of it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's awesome. 2 things I've seen in chat here. YOLO Yo said, bro, I have literally the same story. And when you're talking about picking up a PC and going to your grandmother's, that's why I want to do these podcasts, right? Like, there's so many people that have gone through similar stories to you. YOLO Shimmy said this and can now relate to you because of whatever X, Y, and Z. And we could tell those stories. People can connect to you. So thank you for being willing to be personal. 2, Master Clutch said something that's actually great. He said, such a big business move by Keon, honestly. That's right. I mean, like, there was part of you and Keon, which is just Clutch. It's a hard worker ethic. So much respect for this. That said, Out and Rogue and all these other streamers are the number 1s and 2s of Pred, right? It was those guys at the time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We can be the number 1 and 2, which will then allow us to be the next dropped. And that was kind of the mentality, is like, let's just do this thing. Let's it was a business move, everything.
Yeah, that's what I put in my partner application for Twitch. I was like, dude, Twitch, I'm gonna be the next Rogue. Like, I'm gonna play ranked every single day. Not gonna care. Like, I'm gonna do it. That's really what I told him. I was like, I'm gonna be just like them. Like,
you wrote that in your Twitch application?
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, dude, I'm gonna be just like Rogue. Like, trust me. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. And I guess it worked out. But yeah,
and you are exactly. Now you are
as a
more
business move. Yeah, I mean, Keon, definitely good decision. That's kind of crazy. I don't know if I would have done that in his shoes, but I mean, I guess it worked. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it worked out. I mean, we killed it, so.
Yeah, absolutely did. That's crazy, man. Cool. Amazing story. Appreciate you sharing that. So, okay, then let's start into, this is like the chapter 4 esports arc. You were a rank grinder. I remember at the time literally hearing from you and hearing rumors that you were like not interested in playing competitive. You just wanted to be a rank grinder. Was that just because deep down you were self-conscious and you're like, I don't know if I can do it, and you just wanted to say, I don't want to do it? Or genuinely 100% looking back and to be vulnerable right now, or genuinely just didn't care about playing competitive?
I don't remember exactly how I felt. I think back then I still have a lot of the things, like the vision of comp that I do now, like opinions, like where what's entertaining to me is like being mechanically good. Like, that's what I care about, is being the best me possible. And some of the ways that you play LGS isn't necessarily like, the best performers aren't necessarily the best players, in my opinion. But obviously, in my opinion, like, mechanical skill is what is impressive, and that's not really like the biggest deal for comp. So for me, it was like, well, I know I'm the best player in the game, but like I genuinely think I'm the best player in the game, but like, obviously, like, I'm only good mechanically. Like, I'm probably just like an idiot, like, I will get rolled by people who are worse in the game at me, but they,
outsmarted you,
are better at, well, it's 2 different games, like ranked, you just run at people, I'm better at a different game, like ranked, like, I just kill it. I just kill everyone, but comp, you have to like be a lot more smart. So kind of both, like, well, I'm going to suck probably. But
so
also
there was a party that like that was a little scared, thinking you're going to suck and didn't want to like, jump into that foray head first.
Yeah. Well,
there was a part of that.
The main reason, because I was playing LGS a little bit before, but I quit because I didn't want to IGL a team. Because obviously when I wanted to be like, like a Nathan or someone like that who just like shoots their gun and kills people. That's what is impressive to me, is like just fun and impressive to me, and like keeps me going, is like mechanically being good. And so the IGL role I didn't think I'd really fit into. And when I joined Furia, they told me I wasn't going to be like, the reason I was a free agent for so long was because I didn't want to IGL. I would turn down like a bunch of people. But then Furia came along and they're like, okay, listen, C-Line, you can IGL the fights. You can run at people. C-Line will tell you like where to go. Like C-Line will figure all that stuff that you don't want to do. C-Line will just put it in your brain. And then you just like do what you're good at. And I was like, okay, I guess. And so I grinded ranked in the trailer. 8 or 9 months, C-Line hit me up to IGL. And at first I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't want IGL. It's not really what I'm looking for. Like I would join a team that had a good leader, but like that's not me. But they convinced me to play, and um, what order do I tell the story? So they convinced me to play, and um, basically, I still didn't know like what to do because what we found out kind of quickly was that playing zone was just like not working because I ended up having to IGL anyways, and like like when we get to end games, I just didn't know what to do. So I was like, okay, we would just die. So I was like, okay, dude, like.
And Furia, by the way, people don't know this, like the actual story here, because they only know Furia with HisWattson on it. Furia was the hardest zone team in the game with tech and crypto, and that's all they knew and all they did. So you joined that team. That's the team you joined.
Yeah, so I joined the zone team, and then I was like, and playing zone is not really working. Like we should literally, and like I'm just not good at it. Like the reality is, if we try to play like how they're gonna play, like we play zone, we play super smart, we're gonna get rolled because I suck at this. I'm not good. So let's just run at people and play for kills, and it worked. We
play this like you literally said, let's play this like ranked.
Yeah, I was like, dude, these people suck. Let's literally just run at them because if we get to end game, like we're gonna lose. I'm not gonna lead us a good, so let's just kill like 2 squads and die and see what happens. And that ended up working. And then because they pulled me in 3 days before LCQ, basically. So they were like, it was 3 days before LCQ for LAN, like LCQ for LAN. Okay, Watson played for our team, and I was like, okay, I guess. And I joined their voice chat with Pan and Zera, and I never talked to them before. 3 days before LCQ, and C-Line said something. And I was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna play Seer, and you're gonna play Gibby, and you're gonna play Valk, and I'm gonna IGL. And they were like, okay. And it was as smooth as that. And then we ended up getting first place in LCQ, and then went off to LAN. I mean, that I don't know. Maybe I explained that kind of bad, but it was pretty much as simple as that. Like that was what happened.
Well, you said there was a period where you tried playing zone. Was that like the first of the 3 days of scrim practice? Or
Yeah,
you scrimmed before that?
Yeah, so we tried it and it just didn't work. Like we got, well, it's not that it didn't work, but it was like we got like an 8th place or something, or like a 10th, and I was like, dude, like every time we get into end game where we try to play zone, we just die. So like, let's just kill people and see what happens. And that's what I ended up going with for LCQ, and it worked.
Wow. As I'm losing it. I'm freaking out, jaw drop, because that's, again, I'm a big believer in stories. That's a crazy story. I'm trying to think of an analogy, right? Like Michael Jordan joins the Bulls as a rookie and immediately becomes the lead. That didn't even happen, right? The greatest basketball player of all time had to take a few years before he gained. You had zero experience competitively. You joined a struggling team.
For the most part, yeah.
That was in what? You guys were about to get relegated. Yeah, they weren't even like a top 20 something team in Pro League, right?
They were definitely down there on the bottom. I don't remember what they were, but I remember we got 8th place in our first scrim, and C-Line was like ecstatic. Like 8th place was like a godsend. Like we got 8th place after that scrim, and I was like, man, we could have played a little better. And C-Line was like, dude, that was awesome.
That was amazing. C-Line was like
amazing. This is
found gold.
Yeah.
Why Seer? Why Seer at the time?
So basically, the origin of the Seer pick was I was playing ranked like 2 seasons before, maybe 3 seasons before LJS. Like I joined, and I was playing with Messiah, who was number 2 at the time. He was going for number 1, and I was just like playing with him, and like I was kind of just trolling and playing ranked, just being bored. I was like, I'm gonna play Seer. I had 70 kills on Seer, 77. I was like, I'm gonna play Seer, and he was like, dude, do not play Seer. If you lock in Seer, I'm getting off. And I was like, okay. I played one game, and I was like, I played one game. I locked it in. He was like, if you pick that again, I'm getting off. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll swap. But that one game, I was like, dude, Messiah, like, I played Seer, like, that was like good. Like, I think we should keep playing this. He was like, no, I didn't play it. And the next day, I played with Kine and Enoch. We played Seer, Costa, Gibby on Olympus, and just ran at people all day. And like, it was working. Like, that comp's really bad, but like, it was so much fun. I was like, dude, Messiah, like, Seer is OP'd. Like, trust me, dude. Like, if you're gonna go for rank 1, let's do it. But I'm playing Seer, and I'm gonna IGL. Like, this character is insane. So I had 100 kills on Seer maybe, and then me and Messiah, he got rank 1 that split, and then the next couple splits I did more number 1 grinds and got rank 1, just pretty much being the only person playing Seer, and yeah, and then I went to ALGS and I was like, well, guys, like Seer's OP, I'm gonna play it, and we played it and it worked. I mean, I don't know. It was just I randomly picked it one day and it was good, so I kept playing it. I mean, it was really that simple. It was just
That's the simplicity of that story.
Yeah,
it wasn't Sea Lion architecting the Furia Ape Zone and working with you in the lab to figure it out, and it was you saying, Messiah, I'm going to play this one day in ranked, and then it just worked and you kept rolling with it.
Yeah, I was just looking at the leader, like this character screen. I was like, I'm gonna play Seer game, because I was kind of just character rouletting, like, I'm gonna play Seer game.
That's it.
And then I was like,
that's the origin.
Like that one game I played that day, I was like, dude, that ult's OP. I was like, you just ult, and what are they supposed to do? And so I played it for 3 seasons, I think, and then played ALGS, and I was like, well, I mean, still Seer, you throw the ult, and they can't do anything, so let's try it. Like,
and we can see exactly where they are at all times.
Yeah, I'm like, this
wow.
is pretty OP.
Listen, that makes me so mad. I'm actually mad. For Seer meta to be a thing that you freaking caused, the Seer meta. I want it to at least be a good origin story. That is the worst goddamn origin story I have ever heard in my life.
I mean, that was it. It was just like, I'm gonna play Seer, I think. I was just bored, and it was good. That was about it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the most boring story ever. Like, and now we're all miserable, shooting diamonds through walls.
I mean, it would have probably happened eventually, but I just
you expedited the process. I'm just playing. Yeah, you accelerated it. That's crazy. And then how did Fuse come into play? Because you guys started running Fuse at Champs, and it was just, let's keep running at people, and Fuse is going to help us do that.
Yeah, we played a little bit of Fuse.
Nades.
I don't think it's as good as Horizon. We ended up playing full Horizon later on.
Yeah.
Basically, everybody was playing Gibby Caustic and hiding in corners, so I was like, well, throw a Fuse Q at him and see what happens. Yeah. It worked, I guess, at the time.
It worked.
He was definitely a lot better back then than he is now. I think people could have played it back then done good.
Yeah, it's true. And this is an ignorant question, so pardon me. I just literally don't remember. But when Seer first came out, everyone played Seer. Seer got nerfed pretty bad, right? And that's why everyone just thought Seer was bad? Is that what it was?
They nerfed every single ability, yeah.
Every ability got nerfed.
Everything about every ability got nerfed. Like, he got cooked.
So people just assume because he got cooked, he must be bad, and everyone just stopped using him. But they just didn't think critically about his ult.
Yes. I mean, he's pretty, like, people now are like, oh, it's low-scale character or whatever. But you do have to, like, there is definitely a skill gap for Seer. Like,
you had to learn how to mentally constantly use his passive to check for heartbeats.
Yes, and timing the cues, like throwing them later, like trying to get later. Like, you want to aim for that 0.1 second on the back. That's when you want to hit him. So like there is a lot of like precision. So like you play Seer,
mental clock precision.
Yeah, you play Seer a couple games, you mess up his abilities, and you're like, okay, well, he's not very good. But I feel like I was kind of the first pro player to kind of push past that and be like, okay, well, I'm going to actually learn how to use the abilities, see past the kind of initial hurdle of like learning the character, and just kind of took advantage of that, I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought he was bad too. I never played. I mean, I was just playing because I was trolling the first time.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy. And look, again, the reason my jaw was dropped that story, people don't remember. My jaw was dropped because I was there. I lived it. Some people maybe didn't live it. Actually, I'm curious. One of the chat, if you did not live it, you just don't remember that story. You weren't involved, or if you became a fan of Wattson, or you found out about Wattson after that, or you just found out the ALGS recently. I'm curious if anyone did not live it. But I lived casting Furia, and Tech and I have a very, I would say, love-hate relationship is inaccurate. But I was always a big fan of him, promoted the heck out of him. But then I was critical of him because that's my job to do that, is when he's underperforming. My job is to obviously call that out. You have to be objective and tell both sides. And he didn't like that. So when you did what you did, I obviously, the only difference of the team, it was there, Tricky Pander's Tech, right? Almost the entire season.
Hackula was in there at some point, but yeah, that was the roster when
Hackula was there. Panders replaced Hackula because Panders was on Ghost Gaming with Metro and 6.
Yes, and he got bought out, yeah.
And he got bought out, yes. But nonetheless, the only thing that changed was you. So I think that's a very fair statement to say, you came and changed the team, and Tech, was there when they weren't doing well. But all that to say, you replaced Tech, completely changed their play style. And that's why I say, when I say I was there, I remember how bad Furia was. And not that they weren't a laughing stock necessarily. It's just they always try these corny things, crypto this, crypto that, Tech big brain. And I always tried to make a story out of it, and I was hoping it would work so I could build his story as the MIT, neuroscience, not neuroscience, rocket scientist guy, because it's a good story. And I actually like Tech a lot. I think he's good for the scene. He's, as crazy as he is. But it didn't work. And they were really bad. And then you came in I didn't realize the story. You came in, I remember you got picked up last minute and everyone was talking about the trailer park kid. The guy, he lives in a trailer park. And I was like, no way. Like, who is this guy? He's just a ranked grinder. But the story is old as time. Like, online warrior that no one thinks is going to be a pro player ends up becoming a pro player and shitting on all the pro players and being better than all of them. Like, that's your story.
Yeah. I mean, well, you got to be an online warrior at some point. You got to start somewhere. I mean,
exactly. That's right.
The talent is there. It's just like, how long does it take to get there, or, does it go down the right path, I guess. But yeah. I mean,
that's exactly right.
Personally, for me, for Apex, the online warriors are definitely like, if I'm scouting people on Apex, I'm looking for the online warriors. Like, right. I'm not looking at the roster, like, the free agent roster of pro players. I'm going to go look for like a rank grinder, like someone who can shoot their gun. Because like people who play ranked 8 hours a day, those are the people that can shoot their gun. And in Apex, like, the reality is, like, you can be as smart as you want, but if you can't kill someone, like, you don't kill the guy in front of you, like, it doesn't matter. You can dig yourself out of any hole possible if you do more damage than them. So like, so just somebody being an online warrior, like Zainu, for example, is on Dark Zero now. Dude, I played with Zainu the first split he got to PC. I was like, dude, this guy, he cooks.
You use Xbox or PlayStation?
I'm not sure. But I was like, I wanted to like get him as a sub. I was like, dude, like, this guy is cracked. Like, he's awesome. Just rank, and I knew he'd be good in comp, and he never played. He was level 100. I was like, dude, this guy's like pretty good. So Apex online warriors, dude, definitely, I would look for them first for sure. I wouldn't count them out at all.
Completely and wholeheartedly agree. And I've agreed with that philosophy for about 9 or 10, maybe 12 years now. You're spot on. It was different back in the day. I'll tell you right now. It was different back in the day because the rank system wasn't what it is now. And to be the best back in the day in the Gears, Halo, early Call of Duty early era, you had to play against the best, and it was kind of gate kept. Scrims were only reserved for the pros, and the pros would then play the pros who were the best players.
Yeah.
And they would rise and get better and get better and get better. And then they didn't play ranked at all. They just played the scrims. So you could never play against the pros and that. So to be fair, some respect has to be given to the rank system in Apex Legends for this theory and concept. Right?
I mean, that's all I did. Until I joined Fury, that's all I did. Like, I just played ranked every single day.
You owe your career to ranked.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's how I got good. I just played ranked every single day. Like, the ranked system, like, as far from it as comp and as many problems as it has, like, it does its job at, letting people get into the comp scene, which isn't maybe not what they're trying to do with it, but it does. Like, if you play ranked every single day.
I think it is what they're trying to do with it. That's actually a very intentional thing. And people think it doesn't do that because it's not like comp, but it's doing that job. And I think that is intentional.
Well, agree, disagree. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Disagree. I want you to disagree.
Who knows what they think, but it does that. It does. Maybe it's on purpose or not, but it does. It does. The scene is not gate kept. Like, Zainu, for example, like, I could have told you that Zainu was a pro league level player, one ranked session. I was like, this guy's good. Like,
that was it.
Yeah, and I was like, this guy's good. Like, he's good. You shoot your gun. That's all you got to do, really. It seems
what about the messiahs? What about the messiahs and the kinds of the world, though?
In what aspect?
I mean, Messiah is a ranked 1-2 grinder, but he's not a pro player. Does he not want to be?
Messiah and Kine.
And Kine's focused on content, but he could have gone pro. I mean, he had the same chance to.
It's kind of a complex. I would think about. I mean, they're both good players. I mean, just not on a team. Some people just aren't on a team. I mean.
Zainu wasn't on a team until Meat Lovers and Tech. You think if they got picked up, they would be because here's the thing. I guess it's kind of silly for me to say because it's ignorant to say Darwinism tells you survival of the fittest, right? And I'm not saying they're not, but it's ignorant to say 100% of all ranked grinders who grind ranked are going to go pro because some people rise to the top and some people don't. That's how it works. So that wasn't necessarily trying to be a trick question, but that's it.
Ranked skills are different than comp skills, I guess. So like, Messiah is obviously one of the goats of ranked. I mean, I don't know if you knew about the Olympus story, but no. Dude, this guy, let me tell you the Olympus story. This one, Messiah was rank 1. He stayed up over 24 hours, I think 7 times in a row, probably. He would get on for 24 hours plus, sleep for 3 and get on. He did that for a whole week. And we had him literally in shifts. So like me and Cruisin would play with him for 12 hours. And then Blur and Keon would get on and play with him for 12 hours. And he went from number 2 to number 1. We made a huge comeback. And I don't even know, dude, but I don't know how he's alive, dude.
Yeah, but that's not even healthy.
I don't know
what?
I don't know how he was alive. Like
he'd sleep for 2 hours?
2-3 hours, and he'd get up for over 24 and play.
For how long? How many weeks in a row did you do this?
Probably the whole last week of the split, I think.
The last week of the split, to be number 1, just to have a number 1 rank. And he didn't make, was a stream popping off or anything like that? He just wanted to be the number 1 rank.
I think he was streaming it. I was streaming it. I don't really remember the stream side of it, but yeah, wow. I mean, dude, Messiah is a goat for a ranked for sure. Like,
yeah,
that was
crazy.
Legendary. I can't believe we did that. He would literally. He wasn't even awake. I don't think we would be, because what we would do was just go craft in the zone for like 2 zones, because it was back for like 5 KP like cap. So we would literally craft in zone and play to win the game, and we'd rotate to God spot and sit there for 10 minutes, and then be like, Messiah, like, we got to move. You know, like he would literally just be AFK, like just completely like dead,
zonked out, falling asleep, type of thing?
Yeah, like just gonked out. We'd be like, Messiah, like, come on, let's go. Like, I don't know.
Messiah, wake up. Messiah, wake up, dude.
Yeah, Messiah, wake up. Like, that was awesome. That was one of my favorite memories of playing ranked, I think, was Messiah.
Was it? Yeah.
The shifts. It was literally shifts. Like, it was like, we planned it out. Like, okay, I'm going to play 12 hours. Keon, Blur, you get on. We're going to sleep. We get on. It was awesome.
Naughty for you in chat said, claimed the number 1 pred, also claimed permanent brain damage from such a grind. Perhaps worth it?
Yeah, Messiah for like a week after that was cooked. Like, I did not want to play with him that week after. He was literally like,
wow,
he was cooked. He needed some time to recover from that one for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for a week, yeah, I could see that for a week. I've been in crazy grinds like that. Not like that, playing video games 20 hours, but like I'm locked into work or I'm partying in Greece. Like at certain points in my life, I've gotten 2-3 hours of sleep, for 3, 4, 5, 6 days, but not playing video games like that. Joshua said, snagged number 1 from Chaotic the last couple days. Chaotic Much, and now also a pro player. That's a really interesting story. I'm going to push back on one thing though. I disagree that people that say there's gatekeeping in this community, they're wrong. I think there actually is gatekeeping, and it's not as clear of a path to pro as you think it is. Because is it healthy? And here's my reasoning. You can prove me wrong. Is it healthy or justified or a good thing or productive that the path to pro has to be you play ranked for 20 hours, 18 hours a day and have to grind like that, the grind to the top? Or should it be meritocracy driven where you can play on a ladder and prove you're the best, like Face It or Game Battles back when I was a pro player? That's not healthy or good at all.
Well,
it is gatekeeping in retrospect, because some people don't have the time to play for 18 hours a day.
Well, if you don't have the time to play 18 hours a day, then you're not going to catch up, because if you're trying to climb the ladder, if you're putting in the same amount of work as them, you're not going to catch them. You're just not. You have to put in, if you want to catch the people up here, like, you have to outwork them for a while. You need to catch up.
That's not healthy. Yeah, that's true, but not healthy.
It's not healthy, but it's just the reality. Like,
if that was true though, and I agree with you. I always say the reason that old people like me, 30-year-olds, aren't pros, and everyone says, oh, you're too old. It's not because our reflexes aren't good and you have better reflexes. It's because I had to get a job and work 8 hours a day, and you were 17 or 14 at the time when I got a job and got to play video games all the time, or 19 or whatever. And it's a time thing, and I don't have the time to put in anymore. So I agree. It is how many hours you put in, which is sad. But at the same time, in the same merit, if you look at sports as an analogy, and if you look at even esports, look at Snipe Down. Snipe Down, I know everyone likes to shit on Snipe Down not being a top 25 player in the game right now. You'd agree with that. You'd say he's not a top 25 player in the game, right? Or would you say he's a top 25 player in the game?
In NA or the game?
In the game.
In NA, probably. In the game, no, I don't think so.
Okay. Boom.
At the moment. Well, he was.
Yeah, they say at the moment. With that said, yeah, he's not a top player, but he's on FaZe, which is a top team, and he's still playing at a top level, and he doesn't play nearly as much as y'all. Not even close. But he's still able to do it at a top level. So that kind of disproves your theory that to be and play against the best, you have to play nonstop, no?
Well, what I was saying was like to catch up, because Snipe Down's always like
to catch up. Okay.
And
so once you get to a certain point.
And obviously there's going to be exceptions to the rule, but like for me personally, if I didn't play 10 hours a day, like how am I going to catch up? Like because for me right now, if I'm playing 10 hours a day and someone else is playing 5 hours a day and they're not as good as me, like, yeah. They're not going to catch up.
Ones and zeros.
It would be almost impossible. I mean, it could happen, but it's going to be almost impossible. Yeah. Like, if the reality is, like, if you, and obviously, like you said, like what you said, where different. Obviously, with my how my life turned out, I had time to play games. So there is some luck involved in that aspect. But like, I mean, it does come down to time in the games at some point. But there is some luck aspect. But I really
natural.
don't.
Basically, it's natural. There's an aspect of natural skill and experience and intuition that Snipe has because he's been doing this for 37 years and 33. I always get his age older because he gets mad when I do it. 33 years. There's some aspect of that, but you're saying that like natural versus nurture, nature versus nurture in esports, you think is mostly nurture, at least to catch up.
Yes, I think my life is 100% nurture. Like I don't know if I'm more or less talented, but like I know that my whole life, like all I was doing was trying to just, mine was mostly nurture, I would say. I mean, it's all I did, like I didn't go outside, I didn't have friends, didn't go, drink. I didn't go do whatever. Not saying nothing wrong drinking. Like I didn't go outside.
Yeah, of course.
And, party or
partying. Yeah.
Nothing. Like I just.
You weren't sitting in a truck in a parking lot in Arkansas, like you said earlier.
I just played games. Like all I did. Lived in the middle of nowhere. That was the only excitement I had. It's all I did. So for me, it's nurture. But like, obviously, what you said is true. Where like there is some time, some luck aspect, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's that gatekept. I think there's got to be worse cases than Apex for sure. Because like, I mean, the reality is that if you show up and you have the skill and you show up, somebody will eventually take notice. Like Zainu, me, Keon. Like at some point, you will get on a team.
Yeah.
If you have the skill, having the time is a whole different thing. But if you have the skill, like it'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
I think scouting in Apex is pretty bad, but it will happen at some point.
What is bad? So scouting?
I think scouting in Apex is terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's part of the gatekeeping issue, though. I mean, yes, you can blame the scouts, but are there opportunities for scouts or coaches or managers like the Sea Lions of the world to find people? There's not really. There's no like amateur league. I mean, the Challenger circuit is a whole different beast, but it's we need more systems to give more people the chance to compete because right now competing is reserved for like the 1% of the Apex Legends competitive environment, and it's this is the whole crux of the Apex Rising initiative is the funnel or the faucet is kind of pretty tight because diamond players don't really have a chance to start competing. They can grind ranked, yes, and yes, I agree with you at the time. I guess let me summarize it this way. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent. Let me summarize it this way. I think we both agree with each other. I think we're both agreeing that there is a path to pro. It's visible. It's obvious. It's grinding ranked and getting the masters and making yourself noticed. We both also agree, though, that's not necessarily a healthy or productive path, but the path does exist. You're saying
my sound cut out for me.
Oh, sorry. I said we both agree that it's not a healthy or productive path, but the path does exist, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not healthy, but for esports, I feel like it's kind of.
You think it's productive?
I mean, productive for some people. I mean, thing is, like, I've don't have too much experience in other games, of course, but like I know Uzi from League of Legends, for example. I heard a story about how and obviously this is not just what I heard. He played so much that like his bones, like he was literally so weak that he couldn't even do like a sit up or like a push up. Like he physically, his body was just like gone. Like he had to go to the hospital because like he couldn't. His muscles were so like atrophied. He had to go to the hospital because that's all he did. He played 12 hours a day. He sat down, played Apex or played League, got off, got on. All he did, and like I mean it works, but yeah.
To what extent? To what detriment?
Extent, yeah. Like I don't know. It was tough to watch. I mean,
yeah.
Wow. It was tough.
That's really interesting.
Like I was watching him do exercises, and I was just like, oh man, like really like basic stuff. I was like, dude, like Jesus Christ, like because he was one of the best League players of all time, But like, wow, that's the sacrifice he made. And if you sacrifice that much, like you will be good. But it's like
you'll be good. Look at Kobe. Look at MJ. Look how much time they spent in the gym. Kobe shot thousands more shots of basketballs than anyone else. I agree. Time equals success. There's other ways of preparation too, but yeah, no, I agree with that. So ranked, you've been talking a lot about ranked. You owe your career to ranked. You like ranked-ish, and obviously not in state now. But what are your thoughts on Realm?
My thoughts on
this conversation.
My thoughts
as it relates to this conversation,
as like a way to bring players up into the scene.
Yep.
I don't know how the Crucible works. I think that the reality of Realm is that it's a leaderboard at the end of the day. So if you're going to use it for scouting, that's what the ranked leaderboard was used to do, but people didn't look at that either. So like maybe with Realm, it'll help people break into the scene, but like that's what ranked could do, and people didn't really scout ranked either. Because like Zainu, like he was top 30, I think. He's like second, his first split on PC. I played with him. I was like, he's good. Top 30. Played with him. He was good. It was that simple. That's really all it took. One session of ranked, top 30. Dude's pretty solid. So if that's as little effort, like people aren't even going to put in that much effort, like to know that Zainu was good, like they won't look at Realm either, I don't think. But
so you don't think Realm's going to be like a great way to ungatekeep or solve anything? It's not really making a ton of progress.
It'll probably be slightly better than ranked in the scouting aspect, but I mean, maybe as the esport progresses more as a whole, people will scout better, and Realm is there for that ride, But
and at the end of the day, I think they did confirm that Realm is now just team queue. It's not even solo queue anymore. So there's not even going to be a solo queue rank, and you have to play with the team, and you can't find a team in the first place. So it's not really going to solve that. So probably a dumb question of mine, I guess. Not I realize that as well. But what about the new rank system? Are you excited?
I am excited for the new rank system. There's some changes I think in there that were a couple steps back. Like for example, all of the or what I assume is happening is ranked or Masters Plus doesn't have a scaling entry cost, which is a huge. If that's the case, that's a huge step back. But most of the changes were good from what I saw, but there were a couple in there that I was like, why are we devolving in this way? Like, why are we getting rid of that scaling entry cost? Like, why are we going back so many steps? Like,
so you think there should be scaling entry costs for sure?
For a Masters Plus, yeah.
For a Masters Plus.
For Bronze through Diamond, like maybe it's a good idea. I don't know. I'll have to see. Yeah. But Masters, that was a big deal back then. And when scaling entry costs came out, the first split it came out, it was a great rank split. But for 90% of it, of what I saw in the patch was good. But there were some things that I definitely hard disagreed with. But at the end of the day, we'll have to see what happens when it comes out. Can't really tell until it's live, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. But overall though, net positive changes.
Yeah, a lot of good changes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's interesting here. Let's jump into the next part of the story. You guys go to champs. I call you the Prince of Apex Legends, taking Hell's throne, and then you do it. You guys are the winningest team in terms of points in the championship finals. What was that experience like for you to go from being in a trailer park, grinding ranked with Keon one night, to joining Furia, playing zone with them and failing and being a little bit scared? You've kind of opened up about that. You're a little bit scared that you didn't know what the hell you were doing. You went way over your head. You weren't ready to be a pro. To then getting them to adapt to your play style, which is just playing ranked in Apex. And I remember casting all of this and being mind blown by this because you were the only team to do it, and becoming good. You got some confidence. Did you go into champs with all the confidence in the world, even though you guys qualified through last chance qualifier, and you still, or did you develop your confidence at champs? What was it like playing on LAN?
I'm not really sure. I do have a story about when signing my contract with Furia, which I can tell at some point.
Yeah, please. I want the good story. Yeah, this is good stuff. But tell the story now. Tell us right now.
Okay, so basically after LCQ when we qualified, I was negotiating my contract with Furia, and I told Henry, who's the NA director, I was like, dude.
Who's your favorite social media manager, by the way, in Furia? Sorry.
Chase, I guess. Chase is pretty good. Right.
He did ask that. He was the one that asked the question.
Chase is pretty good. But yeah, I was in a call with Henry, and I was like, and they're going to sign me no matter what, so it didn't really matter. Like, obviously, I wasn't trying to convince them, but I was like, listen, Henry, like, this was before LCQ, actually. This is before we popped off, I'm pretty sure. So this is like, they were going to sign me before we played the LCQ. So like I hadn't even played yet, basically, in a real game. I was like, listen, Henry, I am probably going to suck for a while. If you are going to sign me, you are signing me for the long haul. Because when I start playing the first couple weeks, I'm going to be terrible. I haven't played comp. Like, I think I have the potential to be a really good comp player, but I'm going to suck. I need to learn how to do it. I'm confident, like in ranked, I've learned how to, like, I'm the best ranked player in my opinion. I can figure it out. But the first couple months I'm going to suck. And he was like, okay, I'm down. And then we won LCQ, obviously.
Did he sign you before then? He signed you for a few years? He just believed in you and signed you, or they waited? He
signed me for a year contract, yeah, before LCQ. I was like,
I'm guessing it was a bad contract.
No, he overpaid me for sure. Like he definitely overpaid. I told him that too. I was like, you overpaid me when I first started.
And they still did it.
Well, they just believed in me.
That's insane. They could have taken advantage of you. You thought you were going to suck. You had no confidence. You're like, I'm still learning. And they did the right thing because they believed in you. And that probably gave you a lot of confidence and made you really love the org, right?
I wanted to just play ranks. Because back then I wasn't as social I mean, I'm still very antisocial, but like, I was like, if they don't give me a contract, I just won't go. Like, I won't go to LAN. You know, like I don't have to. So like I didn't really care. I was like, whatever. But yeah, I'm glad I did, I guess. But yeah, so like we agreed on something obviously. But yeah, so they signed me before LCQ, and yeah, that's that little story, I guess. But
Wow.
yeah.
So that's the story of the contract signing. Okay. Now we can get back to the other. Anything else on that? That's a crazy story. I appreciate you sharing that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's W for Furia for sure for doing that.
Yeah, they definitely believed me and believed in me for whatever reason, but it worked out. Anyways, so what was it like at LAN?
The question I asked, what was the experience like going from that to LAN? Yep. And the confidence, did you go nervous? Yada yada yada. Yep. And by the way, last one on Furia, the fact that they like are such a good fit for you, the way they meme and social media not shit post, but kind of, I don't know. It's a really good fit for you too. I feel like your brands are very aligned.
I love it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
super glad they believed in me. I basically told them I suck. I was like, listen, like I'm gonna suck. Okay, this is a long haul deal here, but it worked out.
Okay, so transition to LAN. Sorry.
Anyways, so LAN, I don't remember how I felt going into it. I think I was confident, but also I had never played against the best players in the world yet, like I'd played LCQ, which, had, those people in it, but it was like, okay, these are the best players ever. There was no like.
And Sykes said you won LCQ because of him. Why is that?
Sykes had nothing to do with it. Well, actually, Sykes was our sub, I'm pretty sure. he was technically our sub.
Okay, sorry. I keep cutting you off. I'll stop, I promise.
But yeah, I think I was confident, but I didn't know. Like, I never played against NRG or like TSM like in a comp game yet. Like, so it was like, how's it going to go? But the first day of LAN went, and this is when we picked up, because we were already playing for kills, but when we swapped with the Horizon, it was like day one. And the story of that was like day one, like we were fighting with Gibby. Zara was on Gibby. And I was like, dude, like, this is not good. Like, you are a liability. I was like, you're supposed to save us. We're having to save you. Like, your character doesn't do anything. Like, half your bubbles you have to use on yourself because the whole team shot at you. Like, that character sucks, dude. And so I was like, we need to just play whatever character gives us the best chance of killing someone in front of us.
Sucks for an edged fighting team. You think it's a good road?
I think he's one of the worst characters in the game.
A lot of people are saying, Albert always talking about playing Gibby again and Lou and okay. All right.
I think they're trolling. Obviously, respect them as players, but I think that character is bottom 5.
Wow.
I think ever since his gun shield, I think he was kind of mid when he had the impenetrable gun shield. After that, complete cheeks, just crash. For that's been like 2 years ago, I think. So, but yeah, I was like, dude, whatever character we can kill someone on, like Zara, just play like Horizon or something. I said it like that. I was like, dude, just play like Horizon or something. I don't know. And yeah, we kind of ramped people. I think we got 4th place the first day, and then 2nd and 1st, I think, for groups. And we ended 1st. And I don't know. I don't really remember how it felt. It was kind of a while ago, but it was exciting for sure to be like, wow, like I'm killing it. Like, this is crazy. Cause like I went into it thinking like, whatever, maybe I was confident, but obviously I don't know. There's no proof of, our concept even works or whatever. So it was definitely exciting. And then winners bracket was a whole ride. It was a whole journey. And then finals, obviously.
You guys qualified through winners finals to grand finals. You didn't go to losers bracket, did you?
No, we were 1st, 2nd, and then 1st in so 1st in groups, 2nd in winners, and then 2nd, and we had 1st in points. We were 2nd overall in finals. But
y'all just I remember that. I remember literally you guys just dominated the whole week. You were the best team at that tournament. You feel that, right?
100%. 10 orders of magnitude. We were the best team at that tournament, in my opinion.
1, because you had the cheat codes here. 2, because you're a good team.
Well, yeah, I think. Well, it was just like, I think we were so ahead of the game. Like, I feel like what we did was just like years ahead of like, everyone's else like understanding of like, kills actually do matter for points. Like you get 2 squad wipes, that's 7th place worth. Like, it's a lot easier to kill 2 teams than it is to outlive 13 of them. So it's like, let's just run at people. And back then people weren't ready to be ran at, so like,
They're like hitting the rotation, trying to rotate early, and you're catching a stray.
Yeah, no one had really ran at people before. So, other than Aurora, I guess Aurora was doing it.
Well, running exactly.
Major success. But obviously they weren't in the limelight as much as we were.
Complexity kind of, I don't even know if you watched comp back then, but Complexity kind of did in the Bloodhound era.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I didn't really
but still, but not at that time, no one was doing it though.
Yeah. Well, Aurora was doing it, but they obviously didn't make the lane. I think they didn't make them. So, or no, they did, but I think they didn't get passports or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But no, Aurora was doing it. They just weren't in the limelight as much as we were. So it didn't spread as much.
Catch fire.
Yep. Yeah. But like Aurora had it figured out for sure that, running at all these teams that are playing Caustic, Gibby, Valk is a good idea.
But by the way, actually, you're right. I remember now, God, it's like it was 7 years ago. It was last year. They dominated Sweden. They were like the top 2 team at Sweden. They made it to Sweden. They were able to be there, and then couldn't go to champs, so were kind of forgotten about. But they had that figured out in Sweden. They were doing it very, very aggressive. It was Sweden before champs. Yeah, and they got 2nd or 3rd place, I think, in Sweden.
I thought they got 8th or 9th. I could be wrong.
They may have gotten 8th or 9th, but in the winners finals and in the group stage, throughout the tournament, their highs were really, really high, and they showed that they could do that and it could work. They were a top team in Sweden.
No, yeah,
I remember I left Sweden thinking they were one of the best teams in the game.
Aurora definitely did it before we did, for sure. Yeah. But their Aurora strategy was Giga Chad. They would land Harvester and run at people in zone and kill Watson teams with Maggie Caustic. That was Giga Chad. That was awesome. Aurora's strategy game plan was one of my favorites of all time. That was so innovative and just groundbreaking for when they were doing it. Aurora, that was awesome. I was thinking about their games before this podcast. Actually, I was thinking about their games. They were awesome. I loved Aurora. It sucks that they didn't they're having visa problems, but they're great. No, they were doing it before we were, basically.
Confirmed that they'll be in LAN, which is great. So now, it's tough because everyone's kind of caught on. There's edge teams that are playing similar to them, but yeah, that's interesting. So, okay. So you basically came to the event. You don't really remember the conference you did or didn't have. You were probably a little bit nervous, but then once you got to LAN, you just felt, I remember talking to you in that interview, being goofy with you, remember? And I remember you just felt comfortable. It felt like you were in your living room or Keon's living room or your trailer playing Apex Legends. Is that accurate?
I definitely was not comfortable. I feel like
you weren't. Okay.
Mentally, I was not comfortable. I feel like
mechanically.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty emotionless, when I move around and stuff, IRL. But no, I was definitely shook. It was.
You were shook. Okay, interesting. Exciting. But you still played really well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get nervous during the games really. I get mad nervous before the games, but when they start, I'm completely cool for the most part. But before, I'm a nervous wreck. I'm fine for the games.
Yeah, you get nervous. Interesting. That's really cool, man. And for those that maybe just joined or didn't know, you guys were the best team at ALGS Champs by a mile. You pioneered Seer, and no one was really playing Horizon in either. Were you guys the first team to play Horizon too? A couple teams were playing Horizon, right?
I think it might have been because of no, I think we might have been. You? I think there was some Valk. There was a little bit. There was nobody that was their identity, I guess. There was a couple here and there.
TSM had no identity at that event, remember? They started playing Maggie day one and it didn't work, so they went back to Caustic. And
yeah, we got them on them. We thought the Maggie was good, and they were copying our Maggie pick, and then we both swapped during the first set of games. I'm pretty sure it was not working. I think it could have worked. I think our issue with playing Maggie was a mindset problem. I think we weren't playing aggressive enough. I think we could have done just as good with Maggie, but I think we were the Horizon came as a mid-tournament edition. It was literally just because we were playing Gibby before, and I was like, dude, Sarah, you're a liability. I was really looking at the character screen. I was like, just pick Horizon or something. I don't know, just pick something we can kill someone with. So I don't think
it's the second time you broke my heart today. The first time is when I thought the Seer pick was a calculated mastermind, Fury, Ape Zone, Sea Lion thing. The second time was you looked at the character screen again, said just pick Horizon, try it out, and you did, and it worked. I respect the ability to pivot though. It's a amenable or commendable. And you guys killed it. Wow, that's crazy, man. All right, let's move forward though. Actually, dude, this conversation's flown by. We're at the Bella just told me we're at the hour and a half mark. I had no idea. Are you okay to keep talking? Because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I got another 30-40 minutes of me. I can.
Yeah, perfect. We probably wrap up sooner than that. A couple of big topics. We're gonna get into some big topics in a bit. Before we do that, we're gonna get into some personal topics ish. BMIC posted in chat, and I actually had it on my list to bring up. It was public. I think Jake Lucky reported on it. When a lot of Jake Lucky, I think, reported that a lot of the talent in Apex for ALGS paid by EA and others were very underpaid, and it was made known that that was the case for shoutcasters, but mostly observers and others. In that moment, and I've seen you do this in other times too, you offered and I think did pay salaries or help pay for people. What was the story there?
Yeah, so be careful about what I'm saying here. Okay. So obviously, basically a lot of the people who were coaching or doing the ALGS like camera work and stuff like that.
Observers. Yep.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of money going around to them. A lot of them were doing it like for free and stuff. So I offered to pay some of them, like, because I mean, I don't know. I don't really spend any money. I kind of just hoard all of this. I was like, oh, whatever. Like, I like helping people out from time to time. So I was like, okay, well, you know, if you guys did work and didn't get paid, like, I'll do it. I don't remember who I paid out. I think I only ended up paying out one or two, but it was a solid amount to B-Rad, I think, or Brad, the guy who does he does APAC. Yeah, I paid a good amount to him, and I paid to someone else. I don't really remember. But Bear OBS helped me with everything. He told me, I got on a call with him and asked, like, you know, who's done most of the work and like how many hours, stuff like this. And Brad was like the number one, like, this guy did not get paid. So like I sent him some. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. You told me anything goes to this conversation, including what happens next in your career. Split one pro league, week one.
Yeah.
But then you just said you have to be careful what you say. So no,
go ahead and
talk about that.
Okay, ask whatever you want.
Okay, I love you. I respect it. Why did you not play in week one of Split One Pro League? Because I'll tell you my perspective. We thought you were moving or something that weekend. We as casters, and it's instrumental that we know what's going on because we're telling these narratives, and the broadcast, we're not told why, the real reason. We didn't know. I didn't know until a couple weeks later. That the community didn't really know. You never really announced it. It was never really announced. But true or false, you were banned. The only pro player I think so far in Apex to be banned from week one of the Split One Pro League. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So basically, what I was banned for exactly was that what they said they banned me for, which whatever it was like I was trying to think of the exact wording a while ago too, and I don't remember. It was like I threatened to send hate to someone or like something like that, basically. And basically what happened was
targeting hate speech, some hate speech or throwing hate, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So basically what happened was I was streaming to 18,000 viewers at the time, which is still the most organically I've ever had. I was like, dude, this is awesome, having a great time, killing it, you know. And then I was getting pulled out of my games. 10-minute, pulled right out, 10-minute abandon penalty every single time to 18,000 viewers. And I was like, obviously at my peak of my career, and I was like, just getting griefed. I was like, dude, what is going on? Dealt with that for a couple hours, turned my stream off, annoying. Got on the next day, had a ton of viewers again. It was going to be like the same day as yesterday. Pulled out of my games, couldn't play. I was like, oh my God, like so frustrating. And like, I'm sure you can understand that would be very frustrating for you too. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been there. My internet crashed every game when I started streaming in February. People know. There's a whole command in my chat about it.
Completely out of my control, like peak of my career, and I'm getting pulled out of my games because there's some loser just like can grab my ID from the game, not even from my stream, from the game. He can find my ID and pull me out of the game. Obviously, I'm super frustrated. And obviously, you know, things I did, obviously I was very mad. I have people do things when they're mad. So I messaged them for help. I was like, okay, I need some help. I'm getting pulled out of my games. And it was a Friday afternoon or night, I think. And basically what they told me was, we'll look at it Monday morning. I was like, Monday morning? Like, this guy's in your game, pulling me out of my games. Like, this is crazy. Like, peak in my career, you tell me I have to wait because I streamed every day at that point. So obviously, I'm sure you can understand my frustration. Very mad.
100%, very valid.
I can't play for 4 days, maybe even longer than that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go figure out what's going on. This is unacceptable, which it is. That is unacceptable. what was happening. I was like, I'm gonna figure it out myself. So
weekends are when people play your games, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, very frustrated. I want to find out myself what's going on. So I don't know how I found out, but I found some guy, and he was like main culprit, culprit number one. I messaged him. I was like, dude, like, what's going on? This is ridiculous. Like, you know,
you found the cheater, the hacker, the dude that was
the dude that was doing it. Because
okay.
I was like, okay, well, what's going on? You know, like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, because this had been happening for over a year, by the way. Like, he had been doing this for a while and it never got fixed. So I was like, okay, well, they're not going to fix it. I'm going to go fix it. I'm going to go find out what's going on. Like, I'm going to bring attention to this problem, find out what's going on. That was what I thought I was going to do, is find out what's going on and bring attention to it so it actually gets fixed. So I was like, okay, like, what's going on? Like, dude, like, and obviously I was still mad at that moment. I was like, dude, like, listen, like, I don't know, like, what the fuck's going on? You know, like, just tell me what's going on. I'm going to make fun of them on Twitter. And, you know, that's it. Like, what is happening? And that was basically my intention, was like, I'm just going to, obviously that sounds stupid in hindsight. And it was.
Yeah,
It's obviously
get information and then
obviously a mistake. But
you're
like
enraged.
The way that I worded it when I was talking to him was not what I intended to do. Like, I was going to just be like, because like, I'm going to flame them. Like, I'm going to just make them.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just crazy. But obviously, like, if I found out what was happening, I was just going to be like, okay, like, you know, this is happening. This guy can do this. This is unacceptable. Yada, yada, yada. Way more professional than that. But obviously, I just was mad and said it in a way, you know, thinking it was going to be a private conversation, which obviously, you know, people say dumb shit all the time in private conversations. Obviously, should not expect that to be a private conversation. But yeah, and then I got banned basically because of that.
Because you're a DM with this person.
Yeah, because those DMs got leaked, and in the DM, I was like, I'm gonna just flame them. Was what I said, which is what I meant. Like,
and you probably, and look, I don't want to make you repeat it here because I can imagine if you were pissed. But was there anything racist, targeting? I'm gonna kill you, hurt you, anything like that?
No, I just said I'm gonna flame them. That's pretty much all I said. I was like, I'm just gonna flame them. Like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, you said that to the dev that you're gonna go flame.
No, I said that to I said, yeah, I'm gonna flame EA, dude. This is ridiculous. Like, I can't.
Oh, you're gonna flame EA. You said you're gonna flame EA to the guy hacking you.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what's going on? Obviously, this all sounds stupid coming out of my mouth, but like at the moment, I was just so mad. Exactly. Like, I was just pissed off. And obviously, like, when I said flame, I was gonna, like, because when I talk about stuff on Twitter, I usually say it in a more like serious issues. I'm like, you know, more professionally. Like, I was going to package it when professionally and constructive. Like, this is unacceptable. This guy can pull me out of my games. But obviously, I was mad and just kind of like.
So then you said that to him in a private DM. The DM got leaked, but really, what you got banned for was the tweet flaming EA.
No, I got banned because the DMs got leaked, and in that DM, I said I was going to flame them.
That's why you got banned?
As far as I'm aware, yeah, that's what I got banned for.
And that's because it was back to what you said. What they worded to you is for your reason for suspension was targeting behavior or hate speech or something like that. You said something along those lines.
That's what I can gather because.
What about the hideouts tweet? Wasn't there a hideouts tweet where you like roasted him publicly?
This was my issue with hideouts was before that, where we kind of got into an argument, but that was more of like just a normal Twitter argument. It wasn't anything.
You kept
like
it
crazy.
Professional, no hate towards him, no flame.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like, if I had the tweet that I had planned to make, where like this guy's pulling me out of my games, would have been the same way. You know, like, it would have been more like I would have.
If you weren't,
I would have riled it in a little bit. You know, like just okay. So
the hideout tweet was reeled in and more professional. You really don't believe that your hideouts tweet was the reason you got suspended?
No, because that was way before this.
It was way before this.
Yeah, what I'm pretty sure I got banned for was like conspiring to be mean to some. Like, I don't know how they worded it, like whatever way they were. I think that's what it was for. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously, but as far as I'm aware, because after I got banned, that was what happened. They updated the ruling about like the ruling that says like you can't be mean to people went from like this to like this. You know, like so I think that's what it was. Which obviously you can't be mean. Don't, you know, obviously that's a good ruling, but like my intention was not what it appeared to be. And so, yeah. But I mean, people say dumb shit when they're mad. I just said dumb shit and I was mad, you know?
Yeah. There's a difference. I'm a firm believer in, you know, I'm not a big fan of cancel culture personally. I'm a fan of accountability when accountability is warranted for actions that were bad. And I'm a firm believer that there's a difference between intentions and actions. People will have bad actions sometimes. People make mistakes. But it's really important when you look at those mistakes and those actions to look at their intentions. And did they do it with intent to hurt someone or to... And
right.
Yeah, I think that's really important. With that said, there could be an argument, though. I'm just playing little devil's advocate. Is there an argument to say your intention was to reach out to this guy, flame this guy, flame EA, target them, like you intended it fully at the time because you were mad to go flame this guy or flame EA, right? Or no, am I misreading?
Yeah,
this?
I mean, you could make that argument, but obviously the only person who knows my intentions was me. And like what I was going to do was say something like, okay, this is unacceptable. You know, I wasn't going to be like, it's dog shit company, yada, yada, yada. I was going to be like, dude, listen, like this guy can pull you out of your games. He goes into the game, finds your ID, pulls you out. He can go do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, as much as he can. Like the security of him being able to do that.
You tweeted that publicly. That's what you tweeted.
Well, that's what I was going to tweet before everything happened.
Then what did you tweet? I need to get to. I wish we could bring it up. I'm sorry. What did you tweet?
I didn't end up tweeting anything because
so you didn't tweet anything. So literally, it was the private DM with this guy that got leaked. This guy leaked your DMs, and then that's what you think was sent or reviewed by EA to then give you a ban.
Yeah, I mean I asked them exactly why I was banned, and they didn't tell me, and they said they would tell me later, and never told me. They didn't
tell you. They never gave you a reason, or here's your terms or why you're. But you said they never told you.
No, but based on the timeline of everything that happened, that's what I can guess happened. Is like it was like the ruling of like don't be mean to people. Like getting updated to this was like it happened around the same time. Like right afterwards, it was like it got updated. That's all I can imagine because I think that's why I got banned. But they never.
The fact that you have to say, I think that's why I got banned, and the fact that this has had to be like a 10-minute conversation where we haven't gotten to the real source of why you got banned, I think is a problem. I mean, you were given a reason or any transparency or communication for why you got banned, which would then allow you to correct that behavior and grow and learn from it. I mean, that's why, I'm not saying don't ever ban pro players for reprimand them for bad behaviors or breaking the rule book, but let them know what they did so they can learn from it. Right?
Yeah, well, obviously I learned what I did wrong on my own, which was
on your own. You
don't assume that people are going to keep things private. And also, if I'm talking as HisWattson, then I need to talk like it's public every time. Because obviously, I said dumb shit. Everyone says dumb shit. You know, Hideouts has probably been like, God, I hate that HisWattson guy. You know, like he would never say that publicly, obviously.
Yeah,
like obviously, like people say dumb shit all the time. You know, when it's you talking. And like, I didn't think that was going to be like, you know, I was like, I'm just going to flame them. But it's not really what I meant. You know, I was just mad talking. But I mean, obviously I shouldn't have done it. My intentions were not bad at all, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a stupid thing to do. But like, my intention was like, I am tired of getting kicked out of my games. Like, this has been happening for a year. I want to get, like, this is ridiculous. Like, I love this game to death. I want it to be as good as possible. And there's a huge problem of security in this game of like, how can this, because obviously I'm sure you agree that is crazy. That is insane. That he can do that. And so it's like, you know, I just, you know, made mistakes, obviously, but
it makes sense.
Because I wanted the game to be better. I mean, it wasn't just going to be like, God, I hate this stupid company. It's going to be like, okay, this is a problem.
Those are all well-intended.
That was my intention to not do it well. Obviously.
Not do it well. You acknowledge your intentions were strong, your actions were bad, you made a mistake in the moment, you own that. That's all interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is interesting. I appreciate you opening up on that. And Bochek posted in the chat. Okay. Next topic. We're trying to go to London. So we'll move on. I don't think anything bad has been said. I just, we'll wrap up with we brought Daltouche on the tweet on the stream last time. If we probably should broach the topic of, I guess I'll ask you, do you think you're blacklisted now from EA in any way? Like, are you on a blacklist in any way, shape, or form? You felt that or no? Was it just a one-time ban?
I was for a while. I don't think I am anymore.
Okay.
I don't think I am.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll move on the top topics. I share my take. Thank you for sharing your opinion and opening up on the situation, because I didn't realize any of that. I mean, I think I was assumed, typically when I think bans work in pro leagues, you get a write-up, here's why you were banned, so you could learn from it. None of that ever.
Nope. They said they were, and then I never got it.
Yeah, that's interesting. And the fact that you were on a blacklist after that, you said you were, that's crazy to me, because I follow you. I've been following you. You are nothing but a good person who's paid people for their work that didn't get paid, who supported LGBTQ and BIPOC members of this community, who, is passionate about this game. And maybe critical. I don't remember the Hideouts tweet. So if the Hideouts tweet was a targeting or whatever, and you're saying you kept it professional, I'll obviously trust your word on that. But I agree with BMIC in the chat. I'm a firm believer, like two sides of those stories. Devs should not get hate and harassment. I've said that very, very clearly and publicly, and I'm going to keep saying that we as a community need to blacklist people really that harass and send hate speech to devs. That's a problem. Like, they're people, they have lives outside of being a dev. Systems need to be in place though for when things happen over the weekend, which is when players play their game. And anti-cheat is a tough problem to solve, as we all know. And they obviously can't be transparent with anti-cheat. We're not talking about transparency and anti-cheat, because if they are, the cheaters know what they're doing, and then the cheaters, it's the greatest game of whack-a-mole. The cheating and security industry is the greatest game of whack-a-mole in the world. So
yeah, I mean, well, it's easier to make a cheat than an anti-cheat. So obviously they're not going to be perfect. So, but yeah.
Here's a solution though. Verified ID. There's a solution called Verified ID, Entra Verified ID, that says and automates the system. Every user making a new account has to send an ID to prove who they are. That ID is then attached to your account, because you have to put your name in when you create that account anyways. And if you get banned for cheating, you could not create another account, because we know you got banned for cheating, and then people are going to be more scared. Do you think that would be a solution?
No, because the problem with that is that obviously me, I don't care. EA can put a microchip in my brain to tell I'm not cheating for all I care. I don't care. I'm nothing on my computer. I'm trying to hide nothing. I don't care. Do whatever you want with my computer. Put a rootkit on there. Sell my stuff to whoever. I don't care. I don't do anything on my computer anyways. But the reality is that if you have an ID like that, less people will play. And that is not what they want. They don't want to be like, we made this change.
Yep. Respawn's and then what about the 12-year-old kid? 12-year-old kid wants to sign up. What are they going to do? They don't have an ID.
Respawn doesn't want to be like, hey, EA, like, listen, we made this change and people quit playing.
Yep.
They're not going to do that. So,
and chat's all agreeing, blowing up and agreeing. And then I think it's very valid. Blizzard tried Verified ID. The backlash was massive. So that's not a solution. Vanguard type of thing is the only solution. I don't mind Vanguard being installed on my PC to run Valorant. I don't mind that at all. People freaked out about that at first.
Me personally, I think people, obviously me, I don't care at all. I just get on my computer and play and get off. I don't care what they do on my computer. If you want to put like a super in-depth anti-cheat on my computer, go ahead. I don't care. But the reality is that a lot of people will not play. I think Valorant has or at least had an invasive anti-cheat, and Valorant's doing fine. I don't know if they still do or not, but I think cheating in Apex is a whole different problem. The reality of cheating, though, is that it only affects a small amount of people, and they don't care. They want to make the most people happy possible, and them spending millions and millions of dollars to ban cheaters does not affect the vast majority of people. So, they're a business at the end of the day. Why would they care? Yeah,
that's a valid way to look at it from your perspective. I think they care. I think they're working on it. I did some market research. Dude, the ChatGPT in search is the most amazing thing. Bing has ChatGPT, and I literally can figure things out in seconds. I looked it up, and the cheating industry costs the games industry, I think, like $28 billion. It costs them a lot of money. There's fraud, there's theft, there's all sorts of other hacks and things that are costing them money. So I don't know. Yeah, I think they do care. I think they're working really hard at trying to find something. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what the solution is. But thank you for the quick brainstorm there. It's a fascinating topic. I agree. Vanguard, the quote unquote tampering with Vanguard, installing an agent on your PC to stop game cheating, I think is a good solution. I don't know why everyone freaked out about that. It's not like Riot is going to be watching you.
The thing about the cheating in Apex, though, is they could be doing the best job in the world. They could be the best security team in the entire world, and we would have no idea. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes or anything.
That's true.
They could be the worst,
and we should know.
They could be the worst security team in the world. They could be the best. No one has any idea. There's no, and obviously they can't, give their hand away to what's going on to the cheaters and stuff. But like, there's no way to know. There's no way to know if they're doing a good job or if they're trying or if they're not. There's no way to know. It's just, there's no way to know. But I don't know. It does seem like they are working. Obviously they are working to make it better, but there's no way to really know, like, if in 2 years Apex will be like super clean. Personally, I think obviously the cheats are going to evolve faster than anti-cheat. It will be pretty hard for them to. Cheaters will probably be a problem as long as Apex exists. If I'd say, unless like AI comes into play, it'll probably be a problem.
But then AI can be used for the cheaters to also advance cheating.
Yeah,
it can be used against them. The same AI tech. It's a fascinating conversation. It really is. fascinating conversation. It's a difficult conversation. Thank you to BMick and others in the chat. Jesse just laying, a lot of people in the chat that are contributing to the discussion. I definitely do think they're doing a lot to try and solve this. I think there's a lot more going on than people realize. And then in some ways there might be less going on than people realize. But with that said, fingers crossed we can find a solution. But hey, good discussion. A couple of things I want to talk about. So I know we're actually going to time, long here. I think we're approaching 2 hours. I've really enjoyed the conversation. So thank you, Watson. We're gonna have to break this YouTube video up and Spotify podcast into 2 separate series because it's the longest one we've ever had because it's the best conversation. Let's move on past champs. You guys did not qualify for Split 1 playoffs in London. How disappointed were you, and why did that happen? Walk us through all of that.
So basically, I take majority of blame for us not qualifying. I think I got kind of bored with Apex. I think after LAN, because it was even happening at LAN, where I wasn't really like satisfied with with what was going on. And so I wasn't playing good. I would show up, I'd wake up 10 minutes before we had to play, show up, my heart was not in it. It really, that's the only way to describe it is my heart was just
complacent, bored. What was it?
I think it was mostly my heart just wasn't in it. I didn't care that much.
You lost passion.
A passion. And so cause you hear Panders at LAN, he screams, he sounds like he's about to die IRL when he is calming. That's the passion. And that was the polar opposite of how I was during Split 1. I did not care. Just bored, no passion, 100% my fault.
You guys still almost qualified. You were 2 or 3 placements off, and you missed week
1. We were 11th place, yeah. 11th place. And I was
but 9 points though. It was 7 or 8 or 9 points off. But yeah, okay.
And yeah, me being banned for week 1 definitely did not help. Definitely did not help the passion part. But
yeah, of course.
100% my fault.
So it's your fault. Your fault. You take
that. I did not. It's my job to, it's my job as IGL to bring, I need to lead my team and
set the culture.
Set the culture, and that was not what I was doing. So, and Zara deserved to go.
So you didn't call your fault. What was the wake up call? When was the moment where you're like, okay, wake up call, passion reignite. I'm never letting this happen again. Did it feel like shit? And you're like, I never want to feel this feeling again. What was it, like a Michael Jordan moment? What was it? How did it feel not qualifying?
Obviously,
did you not really care?
Obviously, it sucked. It was kind of like, man, we didn't qualify. We sucked. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to stream. Really, I almost quit multiple times. I almost quit right after LAN too. I don't know. From LAN to Split 1, I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't really enjoy it. But I think after not qualifying, I was like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I need to do? What's important to me? And then for Split 2, I definitely, I'm sure if you watched our Split 1 and Split 2, you could tell the difference of how much I care,
Yep.
You could probably tell a difference in just my voice alone, how much I was into it. Cause the reality is Split 1, out of the 90 people that were playing, or it might've been 120, I don't remember. My passion was not up there, if I don't care as much as the top 10 teams, you will not be a top 10 team, and that was just kind of what it came down to. And that was only on me. Pan and Zara deserved to go to LAN. I did not.
Wow. They were both all in. They were passionate. Were they pissed at you? Did they blame you or not? Never. They still had you. They still had your back.
No, we never really had that. It wasn't
okay,
Watson, it's all your fault. It was man, we suck as a team. But for me, I take 100% blame. It wasn't I wasn't doing it wasn't I wasn't talking or anything, but mentally, I just wasn't there.
The real serious question I have to ask you, though, and it's probably the most serious question I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Why is Imperial House so much better than you at Apex?
I don't know. I'm not sure. More aerodynamic or something. I don't know.
Aerodynamic?
I don't know.
Aerodynamic?
I don't know.
What? That's a good answer. He's in chat right now. I asked that question.
I play as a controller too.
Okay, let me ask you a real question. Do you think you're better than Hal in Apex Legends?
Of course.
Seriously, not just you have to say it because it's the Hal rap. Seriously, genuinely, now.
I'm the best player in the game. 100%. I've thought that for a long time.
Obviously, not Split 1 playoffs. You didn't qualify, but for the last couple months, you've been the best player in the game, locked in.
I think if I'm there, I'm the best player in the game. A lot of times I get bored, don't show up, scrams, I'm trolling. If I'm 100% if I care about what I'm doing, I'm the best player in the game. No question.
Someone saying totally doesn't have an ego. I don't think that's an ego thing personally. I think that's a confidence thing. There's a difference in ego and confidence.
You
personally.
asked me. I didn't just tell you. Yeah. You asked me.
Exactly. That's exactly. Yeah. Ego would be you telling me. That's right. That's a good example. Hal is. I don't know if Hal's still watching. I'd like to hear his thoughts and what if he thinks you're a top 5 player in the game. I wish I had Hal on. This is like some Jerry Springer shit. Hal's voice just pops into this
he
Discord.
Walks in.
Yeah.
Walks into the room.
Walks in the room, literally behind me, just like Reps did during the Verholst interview the other week. Listen, I don't know if I would disagree with you. If you were the best player in the game, then would you not be Optic or X set right now? You're the best mechanical player in the game because, like, are you as good as Nocturnals and IGL?
Well, that's
I don't think you're a top 5 IGL.
No, I don't think I'm a top 5 IGL either.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I thought I was starting some drama.
Well, not top 5. I'm
I was taking
definitely
the
top
gloves
5
off.
IGL.
I was ready.
Definitely top 5 IGL. Maybe not the best, but like mechanically, like for what I enjoy and like what I see as skill personally, like, and I talked about this earlier, like for me, being good at a game is mechanical skill, like, and like winning, killing the guy in front of you. And I think I'm the best player in the game.
You're the best mechanical skill, best
if
fragger,
I care,
best
like if I'm like, I'm going to show up and fucking chill on people today, I will show up and chill on people. I'm best in the game, in my opinion, personally. But
honestly, I make opinions because I watch everything. I'm not nearly obviously as good, but I agree with you. Hot take, you heard it here right now. I think HisWattson is the best mechanically gifted player in the game. The moment I realized it, Watson, do you maybe remember this clip? Was in Champs. I think it was World's Edge. And you I don't remember where on World's Edge, but it was top one of those kind of blue container boxes, and you're in a 1v2 with the PK. Remember that?
Yes, that's my Twitter header. Yeah.
Wait, what? That's your Twitter? God damn it! I thought I was like pulling this memory out of the memory bank that no one knew about, like an obscure moment in history. I was casting it.
That's my Twitter header.
That's your Twitter header. God damn it! I thought I was pulling some journalistic shit out. Okay, that's your literally your Twitter header. That was the moment I realized you're different. I was like, he could legitimately in this tournament be the best player. Do you think you're the best player at Champs?
At Champs, 100%. At Champs, I was the best player by multiple orders of magnitude.
I thought so too.
Just the biggest skill gap of all time. I think I was just insane. Obviously,
I think so too.
Obviously, all of my tricks are out of the bag now. And so it's normalized a lot more. But yeah.
Well, your tricks being sear, drop an ult.
Well, just like my understanding of like my theory of how to play the game is like now more common. Like
break it down. What are give me examples?
Well, like just like like just what I told you earlier, where like, I mean, 2 squad wipes is the same as 7th place. Like, okay, well, it's way easier for me to get 2 squad wipes than get 7th place. I'm going to go run at people. I killed 2 squads. I get 8th or 10th. Like looking at the game that way had been done before, but I was the first person
and that basically just made you index so heavily on skill because you just had to be better than everyone else to be able for that to work, right? And no one else was doing that. So you just were constantly fighting, getting reps against the best players in the world in these lobbies, and that made you the best mechanical player. Because that concept, that trick in the bag, is not a mechanical trick. That's a game knowledge trick.
Game theory, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But because you did that, you indexed so heavily on fighting, that made you the best player in the game. And obviously all the grinds.
Well, being fighting, I think, and this is what happened for Split Run Pro League, was lane happened, right? And like it was like, wow, I'm showing everyone better at the game.
You guys played the same way in Pro League. You didn't adapt to meta at all.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, at Champs, we could have played whatever comp, done whatever. I mean, just running at people was the dominant strategy, and no one was doing it. So like we just killed it. We went into Split 1, we're like, let's run at people. Well, people have adapted and like learned from what we're doing, and now it doesn't, like, we need to adapt again. Like we need to do something else. Yeah,
I remember I remember the first 3 weeks you guys got shit on. And then you guys made a run the last 4 to 7 or 5 or 6.
Yeah, well, that was us figuring it out. That was us being like, okay, well, let's do something else. And then we went on a run, like 2nd place, 1st place, like we went on a massive run, but it was too late. So
who knows that week one? Who knows who's sub for you that week? Can't remember.
Prodigy
was
Aces.
it Prodigy Aces? Yeah, that's a sub. Ain't no Sykes. No offense, Prodigy Aces.
They did all right. I don't think.
Nah, I don't think they did great. I think 12, 13. Yeah, I don't think they did great. I cast it. That's interesting, man. That's really interesting. Okay, so here we are now. Passion's back. Status. The time is present. We've been talking past. The time is present. You think you're the best player in the game. You're not the best team in the game, according to the standings, Optic and XZR. Or do you think I'm wrong and you're about to win this regional final?
I mean,
12th. I was right. Panders has said 12th. I was actually right. Holy shit. It's the Fallout history book I get to pull out of, Okay.
I mean, I thought obviously, I've explained it a couple times. Like, I genuinely think I'm the best player in the game. Like, I think, but the thing is, like, when it comes down to ALGS, like, there's a lot more at play. Like, if if there was like a stat card, like, I feel like I'd be really good. But the thing is, like, obviously, and the reality is, I'm not as good at ALGS as Nocturnal or Al or whatever. But like, obviously, I play ranked. That's what I do. And like, part of it is bringing that ranked into ALGS. And like, obviously, I've found success doing that. And so, like, as a player, yes, I think I'm the best all-around player. Obviously, I'm a humble guy. Just my opinion. You're asking me. That's
no, I'm asking. Yeah, don't be afraid. I'm asking. I want you to give hot takes or takes
overall
and opinions.
All-around player. Obviously, I think I'm the best player. A lot of people say that though. Like, I think I'm the best player. I think, I think I'm the best player. But obviously,
there's so much more in LGS than just that.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much. I mean, a lot of it comes down to just
because look, if you're the best player, then you guys should be the best. If you're the best player, then it has to be on Panders and Zeratricky as to why you're not the best team. Because if you were the best player,
yeah, well,
and they were also second and third best, do you think you have the second and third best players in the game on your team?
I'm
instigating now.
I think Panders. I mean, obviously with 4-3 linear controller
players, Panders is criminally underrated.
4-3 controller linear players, dime a dozen. Listen, they're the Buzz Lightyear meme on the wall. That's controller players. Zeratricky, I think he's awesome mechanically. Zera's really stepped up this pro league. I think he's awesome. And I mean, other than our first week of pro league, we went like third, second, fourth, third, second. Like, the only reason we're not first because our first week was bad. Like last run, like we
played good. Yep.
We were the best. Like the last, not counting the first week, like the initial drop in, like we were the best team.
Yeah. So you think you guys are the best team in NA right now?
Yeah. I mean, everyone's going to say that obviously, but yeah, I mean,
no, it's okay.
Obviously, like I'm going into these like not thinking we're going to lose.
Not everyone's going to say that. I mean, look, I asked Hal if he thinks he's going to qualify for London. He said no 3 weeks ago. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think
you think so. Okay.
I definitely don't go into them thinking we're going to lose. I definitely go into them thinking, okay, we can win this. Like we can win this game. We can win this fight. Like I definitely never think we're going to lose. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, we're definitely a good team.
Yeah, you are. No, I agree with you. I like the confidence. Who are the top 5 best mechanically gifted players in the world in Apex Legends in order? You're number 1. Who's number 2?
Like
we can start number 5.
Mechanics, or like if there's someone in front of me, like who do I think would kill me more often than someone else?
That's it. That one.
Okay. Mechanics are one thing.
Yeah, that's true. Like
who is in front of me that I think will top 5 people?
Who are you scared of in a lot? You're obviously not scared of anybody because you think you're the best. But who, if you're fighting them, you'll show them a little more respect because you know it's them, because you know it's their skin.
Bottom 5, like I think would be
top 5, not bottom 5.
Or top 5. I think Sykes is good. Sykes is insane. I think, not counting my teammates, obviously. I think I'm not going to do that. Anyways.
Fun. I instigate. I don't instigate that much.
But Sykes is good. Verls is really good. Mandy's good. I wiped the floor with Mandy though, but I genuinely
you wiped the floor, but you put Mandy, who's not even competing anymore, over Fun, FPS, and OJ Rain, and
I think Mandy's better than Fun. Yeah, I think Mandy's I think May's one of the best players in the game.
Wow.
So Sykes. What else did I say? Verhulst, Mandy.
Mandy. And this is in order. Sykes in 5th, Verhulst 4th, Mandy in 3rd. No order, no particular order.
I'm just spitting.
You have one more.
Sykes, Verhulst, Mandy.
2 more. Not including yourself. You do 2 more.
I don't know.
You don't throw Hal in there?
Probably.
You don't throw Hal in there?
No.
No?
No, Verhulst hard carries him every time we fight him. That guy's not that good. Well, obviously he's good, but Verhulst definitely kills me a lot more than Hal does.
Hard carries Verhulst. Hard carries him. You said Verhulst hard carries him.
Every time I fight them and if we lose, it's Verhulst killed me every time.
Who's better, Hal or Reps?
Hal's better than Reps, I think.
Okay, I thought you were going to keep throwing shit. If you would have said, not that I don't think Reps is good. If you would have said Reps is better than Hal, like didn't hesitate, I would have been like, okay, now you're just trolling Hal. Okay.
I don't. Effect maybe. I thought Effect and ranked a
Effect?
lot.
You think Effect is up there? No,
I think
no one on energy. You don't think Gilderson's is up there?
Ooh, yeah, Guild's
Guild's that guy too, huh?
pretty
Energy's the
good.
weirdest thing for me. Energy's the weirdest thing. They're an anomaly. They might not qualify for LAN, which is honestly unacceptable. That team has so much talent on it. It's insane. Like the fact that they're in 11th place with Nathan, Gildersons, and Sweet Dreams on one team, because I don't know why I don't know why, but that's unacceptable. I mean, I don't know if it's the rust to not scrimming. I don't know what it is. What's going on with that team?
I don't really watch the games or anything, so I have no idea what's happening with them. But I mean, I can't really give you an answer because I don't watch their games. Could be
You can't say. Okay, you have an opinion. No, that's fair.
I think
that's why I like asking these questions. Like y'all know I have opinions and I share my opinions because I watch and I study the game as a caster and I've done it for 4 years. But I always acknowledge, because I was a pro player myself. I used to hate when casters would think that they know more than us. We don't. So like I love hearing from you because you're the ones that are in the fucking battlefield shooting these people every day and know what it's like. So it's really, really cool hearing from you. A couple questions in chat. Thoughts on Nick Merckx as a player? Any opinions on Nick?
Thoughts on
and
Nick
better
Merckx?
watch what you fucking say, because that's my boy. No, I'm just kidding. Give me thoughts.
Thoughts on Nick Merckx. So I mean, I think obviously he's not as good as his teammates. That's just being real. Obviously he has potential to be like a super good player. Everyone in Pro League has potential to be a really good player. I think. I mean, obviously, I don't really watch them with them, but if I take a guess at what the issue is, like, I think it's just like, maybe the passion or going to sleep thinking about it, waking up thinking about it. Like, I mean, because like Funkers I knew get on and like they're up and coming, from ranked. Like they go to bed thinking about ranked. Like they wake up playing the game. Like, they've been through that grind. I don't personally. I mean, I don't really keep up with them, but that may be my guess. But I mean, I don't really watch the games or anything. Like I just show up and play and go home. So I don't keep up with anyone else. But
and that's fair.
That's my guess. That's just my guess.
Yeah, it's a good guess. It's a fair guess. I think, passion's an interesting word. Everyone just likes to throw that word passion. People replace the word, thank you for the subs, Ellie Arcane, I appreciate you. People replace the word passion with grind. Just because someone's not grinding doesn't mean they're not passionate. And those two words have become synonymous. Nick doesn't grind the game because he's Nick Merckx and the persona, the stream, has a wife and a child, beautiful kid named Nico. And he's more in the snipe down category. He's been doing it for a while. And so that's a very fair statement. He doesn't wake up, go to sleep thinking about Apex because he wakes up and goes to sleep.
I mean,
thinking about his kid instead. Exactly. Thinking about his wife that he's,
he's
at a time obsessed about Apex like everyone else is. It's right.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a whole ass family. Like I wake up and, get on my computer. That's it. Like I don't have like,
that's a big difference.
It definitely advantage for sure, but in that aspect. But I mean, obviously some pro players have kids and do good. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really have too strong of an opinion on the whole situation, to be honest.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. We're gonna wrap up soon because it's been a long show, which I love. I mean, it's been a really good conversation, dude. I want to ask you just a couple of last big topic questions. We've walked through your entire journey, so I'll summarize in the end. But a couple of big topic questions. You do a lot for the women's scene. Why? And what are your thoughts on the women's scene in Apex Legends? What can we do more to support the women's scene?
Well, I don't know, but I do a lot in the women's scene. I've donated some prize pools, but that's about it. You
donated the prize pool. That's it.
Yeah,
that's pretty big.
Helped a little bit. Not about a big part, but I definitely have helped for sure. But
true. Yeah, you could do more. We could all do more. I agree.
I don't want to oversell me here,
Sell
but
it. How about it?
Yeah. I mean, I think. I don't have too strong an opinion on it. I'm glad it's happening. Obviously, they get to play. Luminosity Gaming signed a whole team. Awesome. TSM signed a whole team. Awesome. If Furia, like that's definitely been a possibility of like signing a team, like awesome, like
yep.
Awesome.
Good things. You don't have strong opinions on it.
These people get to do what they love for a living. Like I'm glad like it's all, I mean, I don't have any like, oh, like we do this or this, but like I'm glad it's happening. The women have fun playing. Everyone has fun playing. Like if they're having fun playing, good. I'm glad.
Yep.
I don't have too strong, like in terms of like what we should do better. I mean, I don't keep up with it personally, but
Yep, got it. Okay, makes sense. I knew you donated $500. So I wasn't sure if you had kind of anything further. And someone actually in chat asked that. I've been looking at chat and trying to answer any chat questions, and someone asked that in chat a while ago. So thank you for whoever asked that. I wanted to address it. Anything else? If anything else that you think we should know about HisWattson, any more personal stories that you're willing to open up with? Thank you for being vulnerable in the show. Let me ask you this: what's one thing? What's one thing that you think most people misunderstand about you, or like one thing that you think people just don't understand about you? Do you have anything or anything else we should know?
I think, okay, I do have a strong opinion on this one.
Yes, please.
So I am a lot more humble and easygoing and chill and just like a humble dude, like just chilling than people think. Obviously, everyone at some point in their life does something stupid. You know, you do some dumb shit. And a lot of people, yeah, I mean, everyone's done dumb shit in their life, okay? Like, people who don't like me, you're not angels either, buddy, okay? Let me tell you. You're not an angel either. People do dumb stuff.
You call them buddy.
Like, you know, but I really am just like a humble dude. Like, I just wake up, you know, I try to help people when I can. Like, you know, I don't spend any money. I donate a lot of money to people that need it. Like, I bought like $30,000 worth of PCs for people recently. Like, I am just a dude. Like, I like helping people, and I just live my life. I mean, obviously I've done dumb stuff and it's public, like, you know, everyone's done dumb stuff, you know, so just just because you've seen some of my mistakes, don't make that seem like it's my whole personality, you know. That would be my one little icing on the little cherry on top.
I love that, man. I love that. People hang you the cross for that, and I think they should not. I completely agree. I'm going to share an opinion. I'm going to double down on what you said with just a vouch, because I have not once thought anything bad about you, even with the memes and the trolls and the tweets and the this and the that. It's so obvious. For people to not think that about you is insane. And I hope you can discount anything that they say, because it's so obvious. All that you do for others, this stream alone, the amount of times that you've had to just remind people like, hey, I'm not trying to be cocky, I promise. And it's just so obvious. You're a humble dude. You're humble beginnings. You help others. You've risen to the top in a remarkable way, but you've brought others along with you and have given back every step of the way. And this show, I think, showed that. So thank you for joining the show. The whole story, for those that just joined us recently, I highly recommend you watch this on YouTube or Spotify tomorrow, because my favorite part of this, honestly, Watson, was the first 45 minutes, hearing your origin story, hearing where you came from, hearing who you are as a person, crucible moments in your life, the love for your dad, right? I started tearing up and got emotional about your story with your dad. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for doing that, man. It's important, man. It's important to be vulnerable. You were vulnerable today, and I appreciate that. So from the entirety of the story, a sincere thank you. And the last thing I'll leave you with on that topic, I'm glad you brought that up, because I asked you, and you answered it because I asked you. But I also sense that it bothers you or affects you when people question your character. Does it get under your skin sometimes, or do you have thick skin and you just brush it all off?
I mean,
it affects you.
I mean, obviously, if I could pick and choose, I would want people to know that, like, I'm not just a random internet rager or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, people can think whatever they want. You know, I'm not losing sleep over it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just, a lot of people have a very drastic perception of me, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, it doesn't really affect me at all. So
good. I'm glad, because those people don't know you, and I have to read Borstein's chat here, and we'll end on this. Anyone that watched Watson for more than 10 minutes knows that he's the most down-to-earth guy in the entire scene. Amen to that. We can end on that, because that's entirely true. We went into this saying I barely even knew you, but I knew that because I've watched you and I've seen your character for 10 minutes at LAN with our interview, whatever it might be. You're a good dude. I'm glad we had a chance to bring you on. I'm glad you were the first person to ever do this show, because you have the best story of anyone in esports. Your story is inspiring. Not just the fact that you came from a trailer park and lived with Keon and from Arkansas, not just that, but the entire story of how you've given to others and stayed humble throughout everything. You haven't changed. I can sense that you have not changed one bit, and you're not going to change. So thank you for that. I want to give you one last chance for any shout outs or any words.
Well, obviously hundreds of people have helped me throughout my life, but I don't know, probably my dad. I feel like I try to be like him as much as possible. My grandpa. Yeah, that's probably what I would say. They're my heroes, really.
Love it, man. I can't wait to hopefully I can meet your dad one day. Was he in Raleigh?
He was not. No.
Okay. Hopefully I'll have a chance to meet your dad and maybe your grandpa one day. I'm sure they're remarkable men. It must be if you model yourself after them based on what I've seen today. So thank you so much for doing this. And look, the goal of this new series, everybody, the Apex Experience weekly podcast, is to give remarkable people in this community, good people in this community, a chance to tell their story. We don't do enough storytelling in Apex, in the ALGS in particular. It's something I've been fighting for a while, and I think we've made some progress, but we need to do a lot more to build the people behind the brands and to build the superstars. I've learned so much about your story here today. Thank you for being the first person to join us. And thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for saying at the very beginning, before we even went live, anything goes. I'm an open book. You can say whatever you want. We were able to get in some really deep topics. I almost cried. You almost cried. We laughed. We had fun. You roasted Hal live on stream. It was fantastic. And a big shout out, everyone. Please show some love to HisWattson, everybody, on all things socials. If you're looking for a team to be a fan of an ALGS, I think maybe tonight you earned a couple fans, Watson, by telling your story and inspiring thousands of people. So thank you so much again for doing this. We're going to announce our upcoming lineup of people, but let us know if you have any feedback for us, y'all. We want to get better. The goal here is to synthesize the good in the story and get deeper and peel back the onions with every single pro or big person in this community that we can. Let us know who you want to see on the show. We're going to start with some of the quote unquote big names to start, because we want to build the platform to then bring the little names on and give them the visibility that they deserve. But we're going to mix in a variety of people in this Apex Experience podcast. So big thank you to our executive producer and our creative director, Chrono Creative, to our other producer, Bella, aka Hader. Of course, to HisWattson, the Furia gang, Bocek and Chris and everyone in the chat that's been here supporting every member of the Apex community that came through to say hi and support Watson. Anyone that's a fan of Watson's. We will catch you for the next Apex Experience next Thursday. We'll catch you for the after hours post ALGS show with Snipe Down and 2 pros on Sunday. Watson, will you do one of those, please?
Sure. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
You enjoyed this? Cool. After hours is fun too, because you get to talk more about Apex and just shit post people, which I know you like.
Big fan.
He goes,
fan of that.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
What do I edit? I love it, man. Big fan of yours. Thanks so much, Watson, again for watching. Maybe we'll have you back on Sunday. Sounds like you enjoyed it. Enjoy LGS this weekend, regional finals. Stop using the wingman all week. People are worried that you guys aren't going to perform because you're only using the wingman, apparently. I saw that in chat. And we will catch you up for the next rendition of the Apex Experience weekly podcast and after hours this Sunday. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a good night.